Hi there, my name is QuinnAD and this is my Ultimate Quinn Guide for Season 11. I am a Grandmaster Quinn one-trick who has accumulated over 4.5 million mastery points on this champion. I'm not just going to teach you about Quinn, but also about overall league fundamentals in general. And this guide is going to break down everything that you need to know to help take your Quinn gameplay to the next level. Now, you might be asking yourself, why should I spend 2 hours watching this video? Because currently in Season 11, I am the ranked #1 Quinn in North America, and I will help you get to your next rank goals. My journey didn't just start here. Back in Season 8, I hit Master for the first time ever and rank 1 Quinn, NA. Season 9, all 3 of these counts are me. I had top 3 and NA. Season 10, I had top 2 accounts North America playing Quinn only, and eventually, I hit my goal of being the rank #1 Quinn in the world. If you follow this guide correctly, your Quinn gameplay will turn from this
No way I was in range of that fucking no shot! That fear was in range!
to this.
What are you willing to lose? You cover your wounds, but underneath them a million voices in your head that whisper, stop now. Another twist of the knife, a turn of the screws, it's all in your mind, and it's fighting you on yourself. The storm is coming. Well, kid, what you gonna do now? It's your reflection looking back to pull you down. So are you gonna die today or make it out alive? You gotta conquer the monster in your head, and then you'll fly, fly, phoenix fly. It's time for a new empire. Go bury your demons, then tear down
Okay, so before this guide begins, I want to make this quick little disclaimer that we've officially launched our new matchup guide, okay? So it's going to be on QuinnAD.gg, and this is going to be the one we're going to keep updating. So we put every top lane matchup in the game on this website. We have the recommended keystone right here of what we want to run. We also have recommended build here. This is a standard 6-item build for newer players. I know you shouldn't be following only 6-item builds ever, so we have just that if for the quick look if you want to have some items that help you in the 1v1, but in here we have more in-depth like situational items that you can also throw in your build as well. And we also, the thing I'm proud about is we also put the enemy cooldowns and also the max order, because sometimes they max certain abilities in Quinn matchup that are unorthodox, and we want to make sure that you can have this so that you can see, okay, well if Aurelia Q cooldown for example is 11 to 7 seconds, knowing she maxes Q, you can see what her cooldown is tracked by the level. So we also talked about an overview of how to play level 1 to 5 before the ultimate, how to play every level when she has a new ability, then level 6 if that changed in the matchup, because usually it does, and then a big overview of how to play the matchup. We're also including videos, full-length gameplays of how to beat Aurelia or whatever champion it is, and also interaction clips directly of certain interactions that can help you a lot in these games. Okay, and if you're interested in learning more about Quinn or having conversations about it, please join our Valor's Vanguard Discord down below. It's in the link in the description. In our Discord community, we get really productive talking about, for example, Quinn builds, Quinn tips. We help each other out essentially, and a lot of the times like people will tell me builds that I actually use in my games. So it's a really wonderful community. We actually, fun fact, the biggest Quinn community in the world too, because we passed the Quinn mains Discord page and members, and they were the biggest one before. So it's a really productive community. I'm really happy with it. They're wonderful people. So if you want to join and help contribute your thoughts as well, we would love to have you. And if you find that you're more of a reading/writing learner, I also have my Mobile Fire guide. It's in the links in the description down below too. On this Mobile Fire guide, I talk about most of the builds and stuff and how to play, but it's more of a text guide. So this would, if you find that's your learning style as well, that's another option for you too if you want to learn more about Quinn. I will be doing a giveaway, okay? So in this giveaway, I'll put details down below in the link, but essentially I will be giving $150 away worth of RP skins for Quinn skins, okay? So there will be 10 winners, okay? So to enter down below, you're gonna click the link in the description and it will give you all the details down there. Okay, so in one final thing, so I took the past 2 weeks off of streaming to hard grind on this guide. I spent around 15 hours a day on this and the matchup website together, and all I ask is that if you found this sort of content enjoyable or helpful in any way, shape, or form, that you please smash that like button and shoot a sub if you do like this sort of content. It would really mean the world to me. So without further ado, here we go. I'm going to start this guide off by answering the question, why play Quinn now? The main point that I have is that she is the most versatile champion in the game, and that is such a big asset, especially if you're a one-trick or a main, okay? Because if you're a one-trick pony, you want to play your champ as much as possible. I have played Quinn in every single elo in the game, and I think that my last run, she was banned 1 or 2 times the whole like 115 games. Like literally only once or twice, and I think one was in silver elo, and the player was a Renekton player, which is gonna ban Quinn, you know? It's literally never banned or picked. So you can actually one-trick this champ, it's huge. The other reason is because she's the most versatile champion in the game, and this still stands. So she can play 4 roles viably, okay? This is such a good thing for one-tricks especially too, because if you play a one-trick and my champ can play 4 roles, if I'm auto-filled, I can literally play her. And you can even play her support arguably, but the 4 roles that she can mainly play are top, mid, AD carry, and jungle, and if you're really ambitious, you can try her support, but I would say that's off meta. But in these 4 roles, what makes her good this season is that every single role that she plays, she got better in this season, particularly with Mythic items that came out. So for top lane, the reason why she's better this season is because she actually has an answer to tanks at 1 to 2 items. So before, in previous seasons, if I'm playing against a tank, they would build 1 armor item, and I can't answer that armor item until 2 to 3 items. So for example, if I'm playing against, let's say, an Ornn, and they would rush Bramble Vest Ninja Tabbies and go like Sunfire Cape or any armor item, I can't answer that till later. Like usually what I would do is I would build Infinity Edge Rush, a Zeal item, and then Lord Dominic's third. That was my build. but by 3 items is kind of too late, so I don't want to wait that long. But this season, they literally designed mythic items so I can build Kraken Slayer, Lord Dominix, and then cut down, and then shred any tank in the game at all points. That's huge. Tanks are actually my favorite matchups this season because there's nothing they can do when I get my items. It's just unplayable for them. The other matchups is she is better against bruisers this season. The reason is because now we actually have multiple build options against bruisers. If I'm dominating a lane, I can go Galeforce and help juke their CC abilities. So like, for example, I'm playing against Jax. Before, I would need to flash his flash E. Now if he flash E's me, I can Galeforce out and I live. It's huge. The other thing is with the build options, whatever they build, I can counter it. So if they build like Gore Drinker and get really tanky, I can go throw a Lord Dominix in my build and then I'm just going to shred them at all points. I could go Galeforce to dodge them. I could go Eclipse to help play like Assassin Quinn against bruisers, which is literally the perfect item against bruisers because it does their max HP damage. So there's a bunch of options for them and it makes it so much better for us because I can build as I want. That gives me an edge in the matchup. For mid lane, you can actually play her this season. Other seasons you could, but it wasn't as viable because Lethality Quinn was garbage until like season 6 when the previous Dustblade nerf. That was the last time Lethality Quinn was good, but now it's actually good again. So that makes Quinn amazing. You can go Prowler's Claw, Sanguine Blade, and Collector, for example, and I can just one-shot anyone in the game, and that's what Quinn Mid wants to do. You just want to shove your wave and then roam and then one-shot everyone. So Quinn Mid's actually really good this season and really fun to play. For AD carry, this is my favorite season playing Quinn AD carry other than Season 8. Season 8, she was God tier. As you guys know, she was nerfed because of that. In AD carry particular, she was also played LCS. That's because her stats were also really good. But this season, she's actually good AD carry because her best matchups are hyper carries. Quinn hates playing against like Caitlyn, Senna, and Ashe. She hates playing against an MF. Any champs that poke, she hates them. Like Brand Zyra, those matchups with long range and poke, or AP champions. Like I hate playing against like Veigar or like Syndra bot, which was meta in Season 10. That was why Season 10 I took away from AD carry Quinn because it wasn't fun. But this season, not only do we have really good items that can actually help AD carries like carry, right? The other thing is with AD carries, the matchups are hyper carries. That's Quinn's best meta because if I land a blind on any champion who's an AD carry, I can destroy them. It's my best thing and they can't punish me as hard. So it's such a good season for her. In jungle, she is low tier at the moment, but Mark Yetter's proposed jungle changes actually buff Quinn. I'm not going to go over all the past changes because at the time of me recording this video, he literally just introduced the changes, so they're not live yet. But by the time you're watching this video, they'll probably be live and you guys will see what the jungle changes are. But as it stands, they made jungle so that it does less damage to you and you have a better early game. And the biggest thing is that if you're behind, that you have comeback experience now, which is huge because Quinn jungle's only flaw is that her early game is trash. If you can get to level 6 and be around even, that's your goal. But a lot of junglers, especially in high elo, will not let you go even with them. You would destroy them post 6. You can just farm like a monster and just get really fed, snowball lanes. But getting to level 6 is tough in a lot of matchups. So the fact that they're making these changes, you're going to see Quinn jungle being a viable pick again. So there you go. That's all the roles and why she's better this season. Another reason why you should play Quinn this season is because roaming is broken. Okay? Absolutely broken. The other champions, they have to use TP to get roams off. And that's a long cooldown, especially since they nerfed it. But with Quinn, I can roam almost any time I want as long as I know wave management. So this is huge. Okay, this is absolutely huge because I can actually carry a game playing top lane. Because if otherwise, if I'm playing other champions, you hear the cliche phrase, oh, I'm playing top lane, what a garbage role, I have no impact on the game. If you play Quinn, you can have an impact every single game you play. So it's a really good asset. Another reason is because double AD carry comps are actually sleeper OP. If I'm playing top lane, I don't have a tank on my team, and you guys hear this all the time. If you're playing Quinn or if you see a Quinn in your game, oh no, we have no tank on our team, GG. You hear that all the time. At the lower elo you're in, the higher chance of you hearing that. So I always recommend my Quinn players in Twitch chat that never hover Quinn when you're playing solo queue, by the way, because your teammates are going to target ban you. I'm not kidding about that. But people frown upon that you're playing an AD carry top, like, oh no, our comp sucks. But double AD carry comps have a sleeper OP advantage. You can nuke Barons because you have 2 AD carries. Second thing, since you have 2 AD carries, who are they going to focus? If I'm popping off, my AD carry's popping off, who do you focus? So much damage. I can play as an assassin. I can one-shot them. I can one-shot their carries. And if my AD carry ends, I can take over the role. So if we actually have a good backline DPS AD carry on your team, so that's really good if you're playing Quinn, because a lot of times your AD carry is going to int and then you're going to lose team fights. But if you're popping off on Quinn, you make up for that lack of AD carry that you have. The second one is that I can play as an assassin if I need to. So not only can I play as an AD carry, I can play as an assassin too. And you should be doing that. I'm going to be talking about that later in this guide on how to do that effectively. But essentially, if there's opportunities, they have a fed carry on their team and no one can answer them, Quinn can one-shot anyone in the game, even if I'm not fed. I just need to land blind on them and I need like 2 items. I can one-shot any squishy champ, even if they're stronger than me. That's such an underrated asset. And the fact that I'm fast with ult means that I can actually get there at the right place at the right time and one-shot the carry while behind. That's so big, guys. That's huge. So the fact that Quinn can do all these roles makes her such a good champion. Okay, so I'm going to start off by talking about the 3 sort of starting items that you're going to do on Quinn, okay? I'm going to explain why you would do each, okay? So the most standard one is Doran's Blade and Health Pot. This option is more for like a safer laning phase. It's just a standard one. The asset that this one provides is that it gives you max health. You get 80 max health with this, and you get lifesteal. You get 2.5% Omnivamp actually. So this is a good like standard one just for a more decent laning phase. You can always opt for this in every matchup if you want. It's up to you. It's all playstyle preference, but that's usually why people do it. The second option is going longsword and refillable pots. And you might be wondering like, what's the point of this? Well, essentially what this does, the main point is that you do extra cut down damage, okay? So every auto attack I do, if I run this, because Quinn's base health is really low compared to other champs, any champion in the game who runs a Doran's item like Doran's Blade, Doran's Shield, etc., and I run Longsword with cut down as my rune, every auto attack I do will proc cut down damage because my health is intentionally being less because I don't have the 80 health that Doran's provides. And since Queen's health is so low, this is enough to do cut down every auto attack. You can provide around 3 to 7 extra damage every auto attack by doing this strategy. And then you have refillable pots, which gives you free pots you don't have to spend. So this is really good because it also gives you a quicker item spike. So if I run this, Longsword's gonna build in every item you want this season, like Noon Quiver or your Mythic for Marksman, or even Lethality Quinn builds. Longsword builds into everything. So this also gets you your item spike quicker. This is a really, really good strategy for those reasons. The last one is going cut down and cult. Okay, so you go cult with cut down and then you get a pot. The point of this, same thing, you do extra cut down damage, exact same damage as this. Longsword gives 3 extra damage than Cull though, so this is the highest damage one, this one right here. But Cull gives you like more scaling, so right at 100 CS, you get investment. And a lot of lane phases, like against like Renekton, a lot of players like going Cull or any easy matchups because you get extra damage and you just get a free scaling from just doing it, okay? So the choice is up to you. I'm going to show clips that showcase why you would do each of them. Okay, so here's a clip right here of me showcasing why you would do Longsword and Reflow Pots. So what I want you to look at is the bottom right corner where you see cut down, okay? Every time I auto attack Tryndamere, you can see how much damage my cut down does. So essentially every auto attack that I do against Tryndamere this game, it does around 3 damage every auto attack. Right there it did 5, 4, it depends. With if I do a Harrier proc or etc, it does extra. But essentially every auto attack I do does around 3 to 7 extra damage, depending on the champion, their health, etc. Quinn's base health is 533. So by doing this, I get extra damage. It's the same concept that applies with Cull. It does the same cut down damage. And the reason why this is so big is because Quinn was such a good early game champion before. And Riot Games nerfed her in Season 8, if you guys remember. They nerfed her AD by 3 early game to give her better scaling. And the best thing about that was, with this, is that you basically playing pre-nerf Quinn. Because if every auto attack does 3 to 7 extra damage, it's just like your AD went up. But it's even better because it's actual damage you apply. So it's even stronger than pre-nerf Quinn early game damage wise, okay? So you're sacrificing health for more damage. Okay, so we're going to talk about another clip right here. So this game is going to be really good to showcase. This is a Grandmaster game. It's on my main account. I just played it a few days ago. And it's going to showcase why I really like Doran's Blade start, okay? Because if I run Cut Down and I run Longsword and Refillables or Cull in one pot, that's the meta build against Renekton that a lot of pros run in LCS when they play this matchup. They do it so that every auto attack does extra cut down damage. But the downside of this that people don't talk about is that you have 80 less health, okay? So that means your level 1 to like level 3 is weaker. And my playstyle personally is level 1 to level 3. I love going for solo kills. That's a big part of my playstyle. So I want to be stronger early game for that, okay? So if that's your playstyle, if you want to really like have a stronger early game, I would recommend doing it too. So you don't always have to go cut down and long sort of refillables, because yes, you do more damage by doing it, but the downside is you're squishier. So if you have to play the early levels a little bit more safer, basically, because you can die. Okay, this clip's gonna showcase that. So I'm trying to do a Quinn cheese as always, and we're waiting for Renekton to walk up, and then I'm just gonna run him down depending on his playstyle. I'm gonna keep autoing him. If he walks near me, I don't care about that minion aggro. I'm gonna keep fighting him. So I'm trying to walk out of his range. He's actually going for a trade. He's going really deep, but I'm constantly fighting because I know I win. My cooldowns are shorter, and right there. We were able to get level 1 clapback fadeaway because Doran's Blade. So Doran's Blade helps because you have some more health. If I had a longsword there, guys, I probably lose that because I'm squishy. Like, Renekton can flash forward and try to kill me. But with Lauren's Blade, you're so much stronger early game, and going for those plays are just so much safer for you. So I'm going to start off by talking about Quinn's early game, okay? So I'm going to present you a bunch of options that you can do in your early game, a bunch of different strategies, and choosing which one you want to do depends on the choice you make. So, like, you can look at factors such as the jungle matchup, the top lane matchup, and whatever you feel the most comfortable play is for you. So I'm going to present you a bunch of ways, and choosing the one you want, you can adapt it based on your own preference. Okay, so now we're going to talk about one of the most important mechanics on Quinn for her early game, okay? So I play 9 early games out of 10. There's a few matchups I wouldn't do it into, but I mentioned them all in my matchup guide for every single matchup. But for every matchup that you can do it in, I mentioned it. Okay, so what you do is you wait in this corner of the top bush, okay? You can see it. Same thing with the other side. It's this exact same corner, just on the other side of the bush. And I am going to wait for the minions to all leave, okay? So all these minions right here, I am going to wait for all of them to walk up like they did. And then the enemy top laner, if he walks up right here, you wait for your passive to mark him. Because if I'm in a bush, my passive doesn't mark any minions. It marks champions only, okay? So I'm going to wait for the enemy champion to get marked by my passive. Right when my passive marks them, that signals me to go. So I'm going to auto, E, and then auto him to death after that. And there you go. That's how you win level 1. Okay, so we're going to show you right here in this clip. So Vlad walks up. And then we fight him. And you can see I'm out of the minion aggro. That's why you wait for the minions to leave. So if I do this like this, you wait for the minions. The minions aren't touching you. So there you go. Now Vlad can't walk up. So you want to do, after you do the cheese, you want to stand in between the wave and him, and then keep fighting him. So you see there's no minions are targeting me. That's what the Quinn cheese is. So now next after this, you wait for this wave to push all the waves so that it doesn't hit you. And then you're going to do the same thing. So you wait in this bush till all the minions walk up. Then when all the minions walk up, now I can do the same thing. There you go. Now you're back in the wave. And there you go. That's how you do the Quinn cheese. You can do this in most matchups. Now Vlad can't play the game. He loses XP. I have a level lead. And he can't farm. You can start off all your early games like this. It gives you such a big win. Just keep practicing it and you'll be able to get it. Okay, so the first thing we're going to talk about is how to play most of your matchups. Okay, this is especially good for any melee matchup that it works the best in. So you're going to start off with the Quinn cheese like I just talked about. This game I'm running longsword refill pot for the cutdown strat. As you can notice, every auto attack I do cutdown damage like I talked about. So what it would do is you wait for them to walk up and then you're going to do the normal Quinn cheese. And then the thing is, my goal in this lane is to deny Fiora XP. How am I going to do that? By every time a minion's about to die, I walk up to her so she gets scared and backs out of EXP range. It's huge, okay? So wait for her to walk into EXP or area range, Quinn cheese, and I run her down. If she wants to fight, I fight. And this is the most important thing. So a lot of Quinn players will go for these minions right here, right? They try to go for all the last hits. I don't care about them. Why? It makes no sense. Like, why are you giving out CS, right? It's because, first of all, it's a trade. She loses CS. I lose CS, gold, okay? But she loses XP for all 3 minions. That's the part that makes it worth, okay? Why? Because this strategy of this game right here, do this when you're playing against with aggressive junglers especially, is I have Elise, okay? Elise is the best diver in the game. So what I'm doing is I'm denying Fiora XP. So if I do this correctly, I'll be level 3 and she'll be level 1 and she'll have a big wave under tower that's cannon wave. So it's the freest dive ever, okay? So don't do this every game, but do it when you have an aggressive jungler. So right here, I push the first 2 waves, slow push, hard crash the cannon wave, and you gotta spam ping your jungler at this point. You have to, okay? I'm telling you, spam ping in the jungler is the most important thing. I learned that from Now's Top, who's a challenger LCS top laner. He plays Jace, so it's really similar to Quinn, where you're playing a lane bully. You play the early game perfectly, but the most important thing is that you spam ping. The worst thing your jungler can do is not come, but if he does come, look, Fiora's level 1, you're level 3. Fiora, your jungler's level 3, freest dive ever, okay? So she actually has 0 CS. 0, so she lost all the gold and the XP. There you go. She TPs the lane because she has to. Look, she's losing all those minions. If you kill her, she loses all those minions. So now we're diving still. All those minions are gone. So if she wants to stay, look, every single second that she's trying to live, she loses that minions. So look, if we kill her again, the game's over for her, right? She look at the minions she's losing. So it's just straight up just game over. Why? Because I didn't go for those last hits for those first minions. I don't care about them. Some games, if I'm playing with a Lilia jungler, I won't do this. But if I'm playing with someone like Elise, do it. And you have to spam ping your jungler. The worst I can do is not come, but it's always good to try. Because that's how you win. Because a lot of these kills, your jungler coming will make it free. And there you go. You just won the game off of your early game slow push. So I'm telling you guys, you can do it every game against melee champs. So right here, I'm playing against Renekton, okay? So I fight him level 1. We're away from the minions. If he wants to fight, he loses. They lose every fight with Quinn. Quinn's so good level 1. And we're doing the same goal. We're slow pushing the wave and trying to deny him XP, okay? So very important thing is slow push. I'm going to the melee matchup. It's not like range matchups where they push. Renekton's literally not going to do anything. So every time my minion's about to die, I want to ideally be in between the wave and him. Right here, you see this spot? So I'm behind, I'm in between the wave. So he can't walk up. Look, he lose right there. That minion died, he lost XP for it. Those minions that are dying, he's going to lose XP for both of those. Every time he wants to walk in XP range, I walk up, he gets scared, he runs to tower, and he loses XP for it. So this is also why Quinn's the notorious counterpick to Renekton in Worlds. You can see from this early game. This clip right here, I'm glad I'm showing it to you guys because this is the best slow push I've done. The last clip I just showed you was with Elise, who we dove for level 3. If you had 0 CS, level 1, I was level 3. This game, I'm level 3, he's level 1. Look what's happening. So I'm doing a wave, I'm pushing it slower. If you could do it even slower, push is better. Because now look how many more minions Renekton loses. So right here, the 4th wave is coming. Right now, Renekton has just about 0 XP, I believe. And he's got no CS. And now the 4th wave's coming. I'm spam pinging. Like you can see the pings, guys. Look, I told you guys about the pings. It's the most important thing in the game. If your junglers see a wave like this and see Renekton level 1, they'll want to dive. So right here, guys, I did this perfectly. I'm level 4. Renekton's level 1. He has 0 CS. And he's got no TP. So I spam ping my jungler. He's out of the game. Look, what's Renekton going to do? This is a challenger game, by the way. Challenger Grandmaster game. But you see, it's literally unplayable if you do this, okay? Especially in melee matchup. Every melee matchup you can do this into. Just about every one. Range matchups, some of them are a little bit tougher. Unless you're so much better than them. But for the most part, every melee matchup, do this because they can't play the game. Okay, so this is how you do level 2 solo kills, okay? So this game is pretty good to show it because I'm playing against Kennen, who's the range champion. And I came to lane late, so it's just like a few leash, for example. So right here, you go for the biggest trade ever, level 1. You win all level trades level 1 against every champion. Proc PTA and then leave. And then you want to keep the lane neutralized, okay? Because if I keep it in the middle, when I get level 2, I can just run him down. If I push, he can run to tower easily. But if I keep it like around the middle, right when I hit level 2, I can all in him. Go W second though. If you're trying to go, if the wave's neutralized, W second is better every time because now your Harriers give you enough movement speed to run him down. So you guys are going to see right here, okay? So I'm pushing the wave. I'm trying to surprise him with level 2. Get level 2, auto E, auto Harrier speed. Then you have PTA. And then you can just go for the final auto right there. See how good W is? So if you can get W second, you can cheese him so hard. Okay, so here's another example of it. So this game right here, I'm playing against Cho'Gath in high elo on my main accounts. And I'm starting off with the Quinn cheese. But here's an important note. Sometimes they won't come up for the Quinn cheese. Or they just take too long. So sometimes I just go for the minions like I'm doing here. I'm not trying to go for CS denial. Just go for the minions. I got my melees first. He's trying to trade with me. But this is why you don't trade with Quinn, because you see how disgusting her early game is. So if they try to trade with you, just keep fighting them. You'll win for most champions, especially melee ones like that. And I got him low, so now I'm going to go for level 2 play, okay? So again, following the same tips like the Kennen one, I'm slow pushing the wave. And I'm trying to get level 2 first. When I get 2, start W. W first, so that when he walks in the bush, I have vision of him. And then I go for him. And the big thing here is that the reason why this play works so well is because I have W second. So with W second, he thinks I'm going Q, so he's trying to like get ready to flash my Q when I throw it. But with W second, I don't even have another ability, so it completely plays mind games with them. You get such a big steroid of movement speed, and you just run them down, and they can't even retaliate in time. Okay, so now we're going to be talking about the same thing, a level 2 kill, except this time it's against Set. So I didn't get to lane first this time, so it's again good. Without the cheese, you can still do early game kills. So instantly E him still. So I'm Eing him and I'm going PTA proc because it does so much damage and it's so good to do against any melee champ because they can't retaliate. After you get it off, he's hiding under tower. I'm standing in between both waves, like I said, and I'm slow pushing the wave. This wave I'm going for level 2 dive, so I don't really care about the denying him XP as much, because I want to go for level 2 dive. So my E's back up. I want to go for a trade. Juke is Z. I try to go for the third auto there, the PTA proc, but it's okay. If you don't get the third auto off or anything, always go to bush to drop minion aggro, okay? Notice that? Every time I go for a trade, I walk in the bush to drop the minion aggro, just so it doesn't hurt me. Now what we're going to do is we're going to try to dive him on the second wave because I noticed that he's low enough, okay? So instead of crashing the third wave here, I'm crashing the second wave because I noticed there's an opportunity. So I'm going to crash this one. And this is the combo you do, guys, okay? If you want to do early dives. This is the best combo for Quinn with PTA, okay? So line blind, auto twice, and then E on the second one, ignites, auto, PTA. It does so much damage because I don't expect it. So the whole point of that is that I auto twice, then I throw my E off on the second PTA auto, and then my third auto after that's a Harrier, it's PTA, and that's when I drop the ignite. So they don't expect it. So if I do that, you basically do a big chunk when they're low, and then they're just dead from the ignite. So that's the best combo you can do. If you want to do a full all in, 2 autos, E, ignites, final auto, which does the PTA proc, which does so much damage with the Harrier, and they don't expect the death. Okay, that gets you a lot of early game kills. Always do that in an ideal scenario. Okay, so I'm going to be talking about the cheetah recall, which is a very viable strat on Quinn, okay? So essentially what this is something that LS talks about a lot if you know who he is, or if you're comfortable in the league scene, you know it, or you probably hear it, streamers talk about it all the time. But I'm going to explain it really quick. So essentially what cheetah recalling is you're going to slow push the first 2 waves and then crash the third wave, the cannon wave, and then back, and then buy an item. And then by doing this, the wave is going to automatically push towards you, slow push towards you, and the enemy has to either teleport, or if he backs himself, he's going to lose a lot of XP because you freeze the wave. And if he doesn't back, he stays in lane, and then you can fight him because you have an item advantage. So that's what a cheetah recalling is, just a free item advantage, and it puts the enemy in a pressured position. So this game, that was one version of doing it. You're going to slow push the first 2 waves, then crash the third wave, the cannon. But the better way, if you're able to, is you're going to do the 4-wave cheetah recall. So this game right here, I'm doing the 4-wave cheetah recall. So if you're unsure what number the wave is, the cannon wave is always the third wave. So when you see the cannon minion, that's the third wave. So if you want to do the 4-wave cheetah recall, it's the wave after cannon. So you're going to slow push these minions. So essentially just go for last hits. I'm pushing the minions a little bit faster here this game than normal, only because Nar's range and you can see him queuing the wave, okay? Since he's actually pushing, you always want to make sure I'm pushing faster than him a little bit. So since Nar was actually pushing the wave, I'm pushing a little bit faster. Most melee matchups you play top lane won't touch the wave, so you're going to push even slower than this, but just play on their playstyle. If they're pushing a lot, just make sure you're pushing a little bit faster, okay? So just adapt. So right here, what I'm doing is basically building up a really fat wave. So it's really good because now if Nar wants to do trades with me, I always win them. So it leads you to get kills too by doing this slow push. If he tries to fight you, as you can see, I am always stronger and get free trades because of minion advantage. Almost able to get a solo kill, but I couldn't. So now this is the 3rd wave done. Now I'm going to push the 4th wave. This is the 4th one, okay? So you have 2 options here. Either go for a dive, okay, and kill him, which is good. But if you feel like you can't dive him for whatever reason, this game I chose not to dive him after this 4th wave crash because I don't know where the jungler is and I have no Q right here. So he has Mega Nar coming up, I have no Q. And a lot of Quinn players make the mistake. If you're not going to dive him here, they would just stay in lane and just keep pushing, right? Or just lane normally. But that's never the right play, okay? If you just feel like you can't kill him, back here. This is the cheetah recall, okay? So you have to make sure you crash the wave to tower completely first. That's important. I did. All the minions crashed. So since I backed, I buy an item advantage. Whatever you buy, it's okay. It doesn't matter. And at this moment right here, Nar realized right here that he can't back because the wave's slow pushing towards me. So he's going to have to either back and teleport, and he loses a big cooldown, which is a win. That's what cheetah recalling does. Getting his teleport's huge. But if he doesn't TP, which Nar doesn't want to, he has to stay in lane and try to push. But you're going to see in a second why it's problematic. Since he's staying in lane, he's kind of low, but I also have an item advantage because I backed. He didn't. So now you can see the way I lose no minions, and the wave's slow pushing towards me, so I can freeze this wave. I can freeze it. So if I freeze this wave, he's forced to overextend, and he's going to lose a lot of minions. And I have the item advantage, so I always win the fights. So it's literally a free win. So now right here, Nar has to overextend. His goal is to push the wave to my tower to crash it, but I'm not going to let him. He's overextending. I have item advantage, so I'm going to force an all-in whenever I can. So right here, I go for it. Flash, clap back, fade away, go for the solo bolo. And there you go. Cheetah recall just led me to a kill. Why? Because he was forced to stay in lane. I had an item advantage, and it led to a free solo kill because he is unable to do anything. So this is an option that you can do almost every game you play. It just requires a little bit of practice of doing it. But after you master this technique, it's really good because Quinn can do it in almost every matchup if you want to. It's up to you. and it's always good. It's a safe way to get a win, okay? The times I usually do this cheater recall is when I'm playing weak side. Okay, what weak side is when my jungler starts top lane. Since my jungler leashed, like I leashed him, and he started red buff, the top side, I'm going to be on weak side because he's going to path bot. So instead of me just sitting top lane and dying to their jungler, I like going for cheater recalls like this so that I don't get ganked by their jungler. And it leads to me getting a free kill too, or a free lead. So it's always the best play, I think, to do it when you're on weak side. So if you're ever leashing for your jungler, essentially, this is a good strategy to do. So what I showed you were clips of me playing for lane dominance. But as you know, solo queue isn't like that, especially Quinn. Top lane is not a 1v1. It is 1v2. You're playing against the jungler too. That's just what Quinn is. You're going to get ganked level 3 almost every game you play. Even unorthodox junglers that will not level 3 gank will level 3 gank you. So we're going to show a case like that and why the slow push is broken. So I'm going to show you again the full clip of the Quinn cheese that I did. So this is a Grandmaster game. This Tony Vlad is a really good player. I did the Quinn cheese and I'm zoning him off the wave. So we're going to analyze this clip in further and we're going to see why it's really strong to do this level 1. So right now you can see I'm literally dueling him outside the wave, but I'm far enough from the wave the minions aren't targeting me. You guys see that? So that's the most ideal position. And then right here, the next wave comes, you wait. So now you wait for this whole wave to push, okay? And then you're back to zoning. So there you go, the whole wave pushed, now the minions can't focus me. Now you're back in your spot where you're in between the wave and him. He can't farm up, he loses XP, okay? So, like you said, with this setup, you can set up for a dive yourself, you can set up for cheater recall, and you can set up for a dive with a jungler, too. Those are the 3 options I showed you. But what happens if you get ganked, right? Does this wave help you? Does this level 1 help? So right there, I got a really good trade on him. Remember, Vlad can't do anything. We got the 3rd wave right here. So remember, doing this slow push, not only do you have a health advantage and you have an XP advantage, you also have a wave advantage. That's a big asset. And you guys are going to see that right here, okay? So I'm level 3, Vlad's level 2 because, and look at the minions, okay? So let's say a game, what happens when I get ganked? Because that's going to happen a lot. There you go, get ganked right here. Look at my wave though, guys. So I'm getting ganked. I'm a level on Vlad because I did the slow push. And Vlad even has Ignite too. And look what happens. Free kill. You guys see how good it is? So not only does this slow push help you get kills and leads, but this slow push is such a good defensive mechanism. Because if the jungler comes, I'm going to 1v2 them. Right there. It's a Grandmaster game. Vlad has Ignite too. And I 1v2 them with ease. Okay? So that's another benefit of doing this strategy in your games. Okay guys, so I'll show you guys how to counter the spider. It's important, okay? Super important. When you're playing red side, it's even better. But she's gonna level 3 gank you every time. You just know that, okay? She's gonna go camp gromp every time. Alright? So what I like to do is I like to wait deep. I like to just come to lane and drop a deep ward right here. Right here, because she's gonna path this way. So what Elise is gonna do, she's gonna do her red buff, her blue buff, her gromp, and then instantly come top to gank me. I like to ward right here around like 130, 135. If you want to be really late, 140. And you get that ward off. And yes, I come to lane late, but it's good because I have vision of Elise when she comes. So it's the best play. So then right here, look what happens, guys. Elise comes right at the time. So there we go. See, she's trying to gank me level 3 and was unable to because I had vision of her. I back off. She knows this ward and she leaves, okay? So there you go. You survive the level 3 gank, which is huge, okay? So this isn't just for Elise, by the way. This is for any aggressive jungler that you think is going to level 3 gank you. Prime examples could be like Rek'Sai. Could be like Lee Sin. Someone who like excels on level 3, dives or plays, okay? Elise is the best example, but any aggressive jungler that you think is going to do it, ward right there, and it will save you a whole lot because you can have vision of them and you can prevent their level 3 gank, which is big. They can't just sit top lane the whole time if you go for it, okay? I can play the lane normally. I know they're going to path that way, and you save yourself a whole lot of trouble by doing that. Simple word. Okay, so the last section we just focused on was early game in particular, but now we're focusing on lane phase in a general sense and some tips/strategies that will help you improve your lane phase, okay? So here's a general overview of what I'm going to be covering, just like concepts about little tips, but also like wave management, like freezing and stuff and when to do it, and just some other generic tips like when you're playing aggro and using your ignite in fights for visions. I'm going to be explaining that and covering that all here. Okay, so now we're going to talk about a very important laning mechanic, okay? So right here is your Quinn's auto attack range, okay? And then Quinn's E range is 600 units. Your auto attack range is 525 units. So your auto attack range, your E range. Your E range is longer, okay? So this is really important, okay? So when I'm playing Quinn, a lot of times when I'm doing like a Quinn chase or something or a zone, I'm autoing them right here. They're over here. So right here, after the wave, I'm zoning them and I'm autoing them. They'll stun back. The second I walk this way, they'll walk this way, right? They do that every time. But since my E range is longer, what I like to do is I like to juke them, okay? So I'm auto attacking them. They'll be just out of my auto attack range. I'll eventually turn back to the wave, pretend I'm walking back to farm. They'll walk up. My E range is longer than them. So then I instantly E them, and now I can get a trade on them, whatever I want to do. So use that mechanic. It is so big because no one knows that. No one knows your quick E range. So the fact that it's longer than your auto attack range means that you can do pump fakes like that and you can get your E off on them. When your E goes off on them, they're slowed, and you can go for a really big trade, a PTA trade. If I land my E on them and I'm level 3 onwards, I'm getting a PTA proc, which is so much damage that you can get on them. So utilize that in your gameplay. It will help your early game so much. So now we're going to talk about an important laning mechanic, okay guys? This is not just for Quinn, this is for any champ in the game. So this is showcasing the Renekton clip from earlier about the Doran's Blade that I showed earlier in this guide. But we're going to talk about a different concept of it with this gameplay. So right here, we just killed him twice. I'm 2-0. And I reset the wave, and I backed, okay? I bought boots. Boots are broken. But whatever item you buy... Actually, no, I didn't buy boots. I sold them. I changed my mind because I was too fed. But usually I buy boots. Anyways, so after I push the wave, and I get a lead like this, a lot of players don't know what to do. So I'm 2-0. A lot of players just autopilot push. That's all they would do. Just like, okay, I'm just going to keep pushing all game. Make yourself gankable. I'm worth bounty. Shyvana can easily gank me at level 6, right? This is the best way to play when you have a lead, okay? After you reset the wave and it pushes, the wave's going to slow push towards me, okay? Every time, you can see. So what you want to do is you want to freeze. If I'm ahead like this in a melee matchup, I want to freeze, okay? How do you freeze? You hear that word all the time. It's a really big league concept. Essentially what you do is you want to make sure the enemy minions he has 4 or more minions more than you. So this wave, I'm going to thin this down to 4 minions. Doesn't matter which minions. Could be melees, could be casters, cannon, whatever. Just he has 4 extra, okay? So I'm just walking the bush so that you can see like it juggles, like the aggro's not hitting me too much. And then right when my wave comes, 4 minions, okay? So I moted him. He typed in alt chat right there. He said cringe. That's what Renekton said right after I did that, because he knows what I'm going to do. So there we go. He said the CS lead. I didn't have many. I probably had 6 CS before the freeze. And we'll see how it goes. So I had 6 CS lead before, okay? So I just froze the wave right here. And you're just trying to keep this freeze, okay? So right after the 4 minions come, you're going to slowly kill them to thin it out a little bit, okay? So he should always have access around like 2 minions over you. So he has 5 right now. I have 3. So I'm just constantly making sure that this wave stays frozen. He always has more than me. I'm making sure. And I'm just going for last hits, okay? So now what Renekton has to do, since I'm ahead, what can he do? Like, put yourself in Renekton's shoes. He has to break this freeze. Breaking the freeze means he's got to crash his wave to tower so it resets back. That's what he has to do. But how hard is it for him to do by himself? Because every time he tries to, I'm not going to let him. I'm going to try to fight him. You see that, guys? So right here, he has an opportunity because his team's roaming. So right when I leave, he's like, oh, yes, I get a chance to break the freeze, right? But I'm not letting him, guys. That's your job right here. You're not going to let him break the freeze. So now, since I freeze the wave, it forces him to overextend. Makes him gankable. But if my jungler chooses not to gank, that's fine. I can take matters in my own hands. So right, that's 6 CS lead. Look at the CS lead now. I just killed him. Because 15 CS is a kill. So this freeze just killed them. So, and it's not over yet, guys. Like, I'm not done. So I'm going to keep this wave frozen as long as possible. I can keep this, the better wave management you have, you can keep this wave forever, by the way. There's no limit to it. If you do it perfectly, right here, the next wave, 4 minions extra. Look, I got another freeze. This wave freezes too, guys. So there we go. My 6 CS lead turned to 21. 21, my math. Oh my gosh, quick maths. 19 now. Okay, so I have a 19 CS lead on him. Okay, so now what can Renekton do? Put yourself in issue. You literally can't do anything. He's spam pinging his jungler to help him. That's what he's doing right now. That's all he can do. Because he can't break. If you guys have been in this position before, if you played against a good top laner, where they freeze the wave and a losing matchup when they're behind, they can't play the game. They can't. Look, another wave. The next wave came, 4 minions extra. Another freeze. He emoted me because he knows he can't do anything. Look, every time he tries to break the freeze, I fight him, right? So if I'm not ahead in a matchup, it's hard to do this. But if you're ahead, this is what you should do every time. If you have the chance to freeze in a melee matchup especially, take that freeze, okay? Harder to do it in range matchups, but do it in melees all the time, especially. So now he got fed up. He's trying to fight me. But I don't care. Because I know I have an item advantage. I don't care if he does this. Like, him flashing on me, I calculate. I still have flash. I saved it. So there you go. I could keep this wave frozen again, guys. I could. I choose not to. Only because I want to. I think I have an item and I want to buy it. But keeping this wave perma-frozen, like what you would normally do, is just back right here. Back and then fly back and keep the wave frozen again. So there you go. Look at the CS lead. So he's out of the game entirely because of this freeze. Again, you should freeze this extra wave. I'm only pushing it because I have gold. I want to buy like an extra item component. But you want to keep that. You just want to back right after killing him. And then come back to lane and keep that wave perma-frozen. And then he can't play the game at all. He can't. But I chose to just push it all the way. and the wave's gonna slow push back towards me, and we're gonna do it. So now we're gonna showcase what I was talking about, okay? So right here, I crashed the wave to tower, right? So I know it's gonna slow push back towards me. Okay, I just crashed it, I backed. I'm gonna fly to lane. Now, like I said, it's gonna slow push back towards me. I can freeze. So look what Renekton does, okay? So he knows that. He knows, he's thinking right now, what do I do? It's the same thing's gonna happen all over again. So what does he do? Only thing he can do. Spam ping. That's him. That's Renekton right now. You see him spam pinging assistance? He's asking Shyvana to help him break the freeze. Because he knows he can't play the game if he can't break himself, because what's gonna happen? I am not gonna let him break the freeze, right? So he's spam picking. Shyvana's here. He's desperately asking. He has to get his jungler to help him, right? He doesn't have a choice. He can't do it by himself. So I'm already creating pressure, making the jungler just come top to break the freeze. And then now they're just really fed up with me. So Shyvana tries to dive me here. Shyvana's 3-1, by the way. And then now Shyvana's pissed at Renekton because he asked him to come top, but he had to come. You see how broken freezing is, guys? Like, it's why pros do it all the time. If you're able to, do it, okay? Like, if you have the chance to, like I said, when the wave pushes over here, resets, you can freeze that wave. Not every matchup you can freeze. Range matchups I wouldn't, but just about any melee matchup where you're ahead, do it always. If you're ahead in any single matchup, do it. Range matchup are a little bit tougher, but for sure any melee matchup that you're ahead in, if you have the chance to freeze, go for it. It's the best way to get in a lead, okay? Because now it denies some CS, XP, and you're ungankable. It's a free way to just get really fed. Okay, so this is now what I'm going to talk about is, well, what do you do after you slow push wave to his tower and you want to play aggressive? You feel like your jungler's not there and you want to punish him. So basically, after you slow push the wave, every single minion he goes for, I want to auto attack him and walk out of tower range, ideally. Okay, so you want to master that. It takes time and practice. I make mistakes too, everyone does. But essentially, every time he goes for minions, I auto him and you see I run out of tower range. And then eventually, you could just get free kills like that, okay? So we're going to show it again against Silas. So every time he goes for a minion, I'm hitting him so that he's in a predicament. He has to either hide under tower or get autoed by me. I made one mistake with the tower shot, but ideally you want to auto him and run out of tower range like that. And then apply the tip I did before. So right now he has 2 PTA procs. And then look at how much the last one does. See? It always surprises them. So I have 2 PTA procs set up for the easy kill. Okay, so we're going to talk about a lot in this clip. So we're going to talk about how broken Quinn ult is post 6, okay? But also a few mechanics all in one clip, okay? So right here, when you crash the wave, you always want to back on Quinn if you can, or roam, because you're just so fast. If I crash the wave like this and I'm post 6, I will always make it back before the wave. Always, always. And I'm so fast. It's like a cheater recall times 2. You literally lose 0 minions and it's just so good, okay? So that's what I'm doing this game. So I just backed, shoved the wave. And I'm going to fly back to lane. So this is the play you do, okay? This is so big. I get so many kills like this, okay? So right here, I was trying to roam, but I found out I couldn't. I didn't want to lose waves. So I'm going top lane, okay? So after he pushes the wave, right? 9 times out of 10, he's going to back on one of the bushes. Because that's just normally what they do. Even like, again, this is a Grandmaster game. Grandmaster Challenger game, actually. I don't know if you recognize any of these names, too. A lot of these players are really high elo. If you OPGG them. But right here, okay. What you're going to do is you are going to fly to set, okay? And you're going to use your W, so why W is broken. And you're going to find him in the bush. And then you have item advantage to kill him. Okay, dude, it's so... This is why Quinn W is broken. Your ult gets you there. And... you can find him because you know he's gonna, like, 9 players out of 10, even on high elo, they don't expect how fast you are, and they don't realize your W, how broken it is. You catch every greeter, okay? And the best thing about this is, even if I don't kill him, look, I make it to the wave just in time. It's not even just like you make the wave in time and you lose 0 minions. Look, I lost literally 0, okay? 0 minions I lost from that, right? But the thing is, you can catch the wave right here, just doing this, okay? Let's pretend I don't catch that, okay? Let's pretend he's gone, or like he's smart and he walks to tower and backs, right? This is so good for wave management, okay? Because again, if you know what wave management is, I want you, before I even say it, I want you to think at home what you think I'm going to do here, okay? I remember I just talked about it earlier in my segments, but right here, what you could do, okay? If you haven't thought about it already, since I caught the wave, since I'm so fast, I was able to catch the wave, that's what they call it, before it hits the tower, because if it hits the tower, my tower's going to kill them all, and the wave's going to reset. Worst case scenario, I can freeze this wave. So what you would do is, since you drag the minions, you fly up to try to chase set, and if he's not there, I can just fly into the bush, drop minion aggro, and do the thing like I talked about in the freezing segment that's a little bit before. And there you go. You got a perfect wave freeze. Okay. So worst case scenario, Quinn ult, if you allows you to get free wave freezes. Remember, he has no TP because you have to use it, right? He only gets 1 TP. I get TP whenever. So you can do a lot of backs on Quinn, which is I really love about her. But the best thing is like literally right at level 6, Also why I like Boots Rush, because Boots Rush helps me go even faster. But I'm able to freeze the wave too, which again, it's huge. If you saw that Renekton clip that I put over there earlier, how broken is freezing, especially when you're ad. So that's the worst case scenario, okay? But let's see, he's gonna agree, right? So what you're gonna do is you're gonna press W when you're in the middle, so that no matter what bush he's in, if he's in the alcove too, I'll see him. So if I press W here, I'll see vision of all this, and I'll get vision of this. So it literally gets everything, okay? So I'm gonna press W there. Right there, see? See where I press W though? You see, they have to know, like, don't press W here. You gotta be smart with the W. W in the middle of the lane. So like, no matter where he is, okay? Except for this bush, but I have a pink ward here, so I don't have to W this, guys, okay? So I always have a pink ward here. So if I just have to W right here. So if I W, it gets this, literally everywhere. And if he's backing here, I'll see him too. So perfect W. And again, we caught the wave too. So worst case scenario, we caught the wave. So we W first, okay? And this is just a regular laning Quinn tip. As if you're in fighting someone and he's in the bush, okay? You have Ignite every game. You want to Ignite him right away, okay? Why? Because it gets you vision. If anyone's in a bush, okay, no matter what, and you want to fight him, you Ignite right away. Why? You might be wondering, well, what's the point? If you know you're going to all in him there, the first thing you do is Ignite, because what they like to do is a lot of players like to use these bushes where they hide in the bush and then you can't auto him and then you have to face check and then he can kill you, right? Especially melee champs. If he, like, you know, like if he hides in the bush, I have to walk up to get there and then it's dangerous. But if I Ignite, I have vision him the whole time. So what you instantly Ignite. Instantly. So now I have vision him the whole time. Look, the whole time. I can just auto him to death. He can't do anything. There's no outplay potential. Let me show it again. So I put that in slow motion. I'll do it fast motion. So right here he's backing. Fly up. You literally catch the wave. Perfect timing. The minions are following you. You press W. And then you Ignite right away. First thing. So after I Ignite, there's no counterplay. I don't have to worry about face checking. So that's huge. That will help you guys so much. So implement on your gameplay and you'll it's really helpful. It'll benefit you a lot in your games, and it'll help you on wave management. Okay, so now we're gonna be covering roaming. Okay, just really basic. I'm gonna be making more in-depth guides on roaming because I think they deserve a video in themselves. But just quickly, just like we're gonna cover when to roam. But before I show that, I want to talk about when not to roam. Okay, the time you do not roam, guys, is when the wave is right under your tower and it's a big wave. Okay, so if the enemy top is pushing and he has the wave coming to my tower, that's when you should not roam, because now I'm going to lose the plates and all that XP. That's too much gold that you lose, okay? So if you want to avoid those situations if you can. But now we're going to talk about when to roam. Okay, so now we're going to be covering roaming, okay? So you can roam on any Quinn playstyle. Assassin Quinn, especially if you're going Electrocute with lethality build. As you see Tyler 1 go, you're going to roam primarily. You're not even playing for lane phase, okay? So this game I was playing against Aatrox, and I'm just wanting to roam because our whole team is squishy, so I thought it was a good lethality game. So the best time to roam, ideally, is when you slow... Okay, this is how you do it. So if you have the ideal world, you want to slow push the wave, okay? So you're going to slow push ideally 2 or 3 waves, and then crash that wave to tower. That's the most ideal way, because if I do that, I lose the least amount of minions possible. That's the ideal world, okay? So let's say if I want to plan a roam, okay? So I'll do a slow push, okay? As you know, slow pushing, you're going to push the wave as slow as possible. You're going to build up the biggest wave ever, ideally with the cannon wave too, and then crash at the tower. That's the perfect time to roam, that window. If you can't do that, cannon wave's a good time to roam. Crashing the tower is ideal. This time I couldn't crash the tower, but it's still okay. So cannon waves are always the best wave to roam. Why? Because it takes the longest for him to clear it, okay? So he can't push it to me. So this isn't the best situation to roam, but it's not a bad one because it gives me time still. Like I said, you want to do it when you crash the tower. But right here, like Aatrox could freeze, I guess. But I know that I just want to get a quick roam off. My fear is him like getting plates. But, you know, if he just like freezes a wave here, I'm fine. So you want to kind of like understand where they're going to ward. So right here, like they have pinks and usually these bush when you're playing against Quinn. Okay. So I'd like to go around that because, they probably won't see me. So right here, I'm in the middle where the bushes are and I wait for cast to show. This is the area you want to loop. You can either go, like if you're going from lane phase, you want to go this way. This is the best way to roam if you can, because they hardly ever ward this area if you're able to get there. But I couldn't find a way to get there, so that's fine. The other best way is going this way. So as you can see, I'm in the river, and I'm gonna not even go near that bush. I want to loop around like this, okay? So that's... By the time he sees me, it's too late. Yeah, he sees me now. Doesn't matter. Look, I'm too fast. See? You see, like, get a loop like that. So when you're roaming on Quinn top, especially, the best place to roam is mid because you literally lose nothing for it. And see, look, Aatrox is pushing, not even freezing, right? It's not even, like, freezing the wave. So, like, usually when they freeze, right, guys? Top, they'll start breaking the freeze when they see you roaming because they're like, okay, well, Quinn's gonna win my team the game. I gotta do something, right? So I was like, I don't really lose anything. Like, this actually wasn't a bad roam here because, as you can see, it even freeze. He's turning into a slow push. He's slow pushing. So guys, what do I lose on that roam? Literally nothing, right? So cannon wave's the best wave because it takes it forever to go. But a lot of times when they freeze a wave, right, it sucks. But like if I got a quick roam mid, like look, I literally lost nothing. He broke the freeze, right? You see this? This is a Grandmaster game, by the way. You see? Like it's just you have to find opportunities to roam. And then right here, I can also freeze the wave and force a play. But like you want to go for CS if you can. But any opportunity you have to roam, it's always good. Your champ's so broken for roaming, and you can utilize that in your gameplay. Another good play you can do against same game is ping your top laner or your mid laner or jungler to take over your role. So right here, I pinged Viego to go top lane to take this role because I want to make a roam mid. Because I see Dragon up, so I want to roam mid. So I tell him to take top wave, I lose nothing top. And then I try to make a play mid. Cassiopeia sees Viego top, so she's trying to push up overextended. So then I get a free trade on her. Do my E engage, Q, back off, bait R. She's blinded, she saw that I was going to R, so I backed up. Get her R and her barrier, so that roam was good. And then, again, I lose nothing top lane, because I told Viego to go top here, okay? So, what's going to happen? Now I'm going to play around the map like a second jungler, okay? So, we just got mid, we pushed out, got our summoners. Now I'm going to help my team out at Dragon, right? I'm going to look for another play. The fight's breaking out, this is perfect for Quinn, look. See it? So, now I'm literally losing nothing, because I told Viego to take that, while I am winning my team in the game with the roams right here. And there you go, now it secures this Dragon. So, always find opportunities to roam. Ideally, when you're not losing anything, but you see this game, like I'm just perma-roaming. But I'm doing it when I'm not losing anything, okay? So if I can get my, like, a mid laner to tell him to go top or take a wave or something, it's good. He decides to go for again, that's good. You know, my team is taking my resources, I lose nothing. Do a little lane swap here, actually, but always find opportunities because your champion's really good at that. That's what Quinn excels at, roaming, okay? You don't always have to just play for a lane, you can, but you're not open to. So this roaming is really good. Talk about macro analysis, okay, guys? So now you're wondering, like, when do I roam? Like, oh, I'm not sure, QuinnAD, like, when do I roam? I don't know. But you have to do a macro analysis, okay? What I mean by that, like, look at the matchup, okay? First of all, look at the matchup. If I'm playing against someone like Jax, I wouldn't roam that much because why? Jax is gonna melt my towers. This guy destroys plates, right? You have to look at the champion. Aatrox, this guy doesn't push that much. Malphite, they don't push that much, right? Champions that have really bad wave clear, bad turret playing potential. You can roam as much as you want in those matchups, right? Like Aatrox, good one. Aatrox doesn't really do much to towers or like pushes really fast, right? He's good, but he's not the best. Like if I'm playing against like Jax or like Fiora, I probably wouldn't roam against them. Or Heimerdinger, I would not roam against those guys that much because they're gonna always push the wave really hard. Like Heimerdinger, he'll push my wave the whole game. I can't really roam in the Heimerdinger matchup because he'll go for it. So look at the matchup too, guys. It's not only like times too, but take a look at the matchup. Champions that excel at pushing and excel at taking towers, be really careful about it, okay? And always find opportunities. So if you want to roam too, like use your ult for speed. Look right here. So before I go in, I'm gonna know she's gonna R, so I back up. There you go. You get her W and R. See, I'm so fast that like you're able to like bait abilities. So if you want to do that for a roam, always use your ult speed to bait abilities if you can too. You don't always have to go in right away. Okay, so I'm gonna talk now about what to do when you're behind or when you play weak side. Okay, if you're not sure what weak side is, you hear that word a lot. Basically, what weak side is it's when you your jungler is not playing around your lane. So right here, this game, their jungler camped me, and Tristana, they constantly dove me. My jungler ignored me on purpose, that's okay. We camped bot, look at bot lane, they're huge. So their bot lane is just as behind as me. They're actually more, we're about the same, like you can see the weak link, but there's Zayas too, yeah, we're basically the same, right? I just roamed a little bit, so I got some KP, which is really good to do on weak side, so I was able to get some way back in the game. But essentially, I'm like, really behind. Look at dude, I have 3k gold. He's 600 gold over 700 gold over me, okay? So just take in right here. He's double my CS, 700 gold on me. Keep note of that, okay? So this situation, a lot of Quinn players are like, oh, I'm just gonna perma roam. It's not every game. Don't do that every game. Don't make that mistake. Like look, literally I am so useless this game because I'm way too behind. If I was a little bit more fed, I would roam, but I'm too behind. My team's winning, I don't have to roam. So what my goal is to get back in the game in any way possible. Like on my tower thrift tailed at 10 minutes, the best play here is what Elise would say is freeze this wave. Okay, remember I had 3k gold. So he would say perma freeze this wave. I was trying to do that. I kind of messed it up a little bit. It's a little bit tougher to freeze these waves, I'm not gonna lie. Like these, one of them waves, like the wave over here, because the minions go a little bit slower. So, but anyways, like the play I wanted to do was freezing, but in hindsight, it's actually better I didn't. So slow push worked out here, and you guys are gonna see why. Essentially, what I want to do is just find some way to come back in the game. So I was down 40 CS, literally half. So my first goal is to get back in CS. So ideally, try to avoid Aatrox, try to find myself isolated, and try to get some gold, especially with plates open. So try to find an opportunity. Okay. So We're seeing if there's any way that we can get in. Again, I try to freeze this. I made a mistake, but slow push actually does work here. Since I'm not pushing, see, if you push this wave fast, Aatrox just comes and collects the wave. But if you freeze it, he can't, because he's gonna have to overextend too much, right? But again, this wasn't a freeze, it's a slow push, but it works out. He ends up going to try to make a TP bot. Again, some Quinn players like, oh, I gotta roam here and help my team. Dude, I don't care. I'm too behind. My focus is to come back in the game. Okay, that's my focus. Okay, so right here, I was able to come up a little bit. I got 465 gold right there. That's the whole kill I got on that wave. Okay, so that's huge. Like, it's not as bad now. I'm only 400 gold behind just from that one little play I did. Okay, so now he TP bot. I saw this an opportunity. I'm like, oh yes, I'm literally isolated with turret plates. Okay, so we're still going, slow pushing the wave. I see him TP bots and I'm hard shoving it, right? Because I want to get plates. I was trying to freeze / slow push, but since I saw him TP, I'm hard pushing and we're going for plates. Okay, so remember right here, 3.6k gold. He had 4 heal. He got a lot of gold from that play. But look, I'm isolated, so I'm literally, again, use your W marks to get tower plates faster. But I'm pushing this as fast as I can. I know I'm completely isolated. They're in a big fight. I had literally provided nothing for my team. I have a noon quiver. I do nothing. I provide no way of me helping the team. So in these situations, just try to find yourself to either roam and get picks, but if you're too behind, just opt for split pushing and CS. Right there, I caught up in CS. So now let's look at that. So we're catching up a lot. We're getting some XP too. I was under leveled. I'm a level on Aatrox now, guys. Look, I was 2 levels under him before I showed you guys the clip. I was literally 2 levels under him at one point in the game. But after I made this play right here, caught up in CS. Okay, got 3 plates. Okay, that's a kill and a half. You guys have to realize how important it is, tower plates and CS. Like, people overlook this. Like, oh, if I go and get 1 kill, how much you get? 300 gold, right? Remember, I had 3k gold before that. Okay, guys. So if I roamed right there, I would probably get like 1 kill max if I'm lucky. Remember, I literally have to KS it. I do nothing, okay? So I would get 1 kill max. That would put me around like 3.3k gold, okay? And I would be level 7 still, okay? If I got lucky. That's like best case scenario. Okay, maybe some assists too, but there's no objective. There's no point in me roaming. So keep that in mind. Let's see how much gold I have now. Right there, guys. I have 300 more than Aatrox, or 200 more than Aatrox. So that play, I got 1,500 gold by doing literally nothing. Okay, so you have to realize, I'm just saying that it works for every champion, but find a way back in the game. You don't have to roam. When I watch VODs of so many Quinn players, they literally just roam like, just like, I guess like just birds in the wild that just don't really have a direction. Like, you're just going everywhere and they're just dying, and then they average like 15 deaths a game. Well, it's because they're constantly roaming. Like, you have to realize you shouldn't always do that, okay? Be a little bit safer. Try not to die much, and then you can split push too if you can. So this is a good opportunity, and I'm going to now show you what this led to. So this 1,500 gold, now we're going to turn to going from this to carrying, okay? Okay, so from this play, guys, remember, I made that play because there's no objective. If there's just a dragon up, I would probably roam for that, but just look at the timers, okay? This is just a league tip for all you guys, especially non-Quinn players too. It's like, there's no objective, that's why I didn't fight that previous fight. There's no need for me to. There's no need. There's no objective, there's no point. Now there's a dragon up, but look, now since I did that play, I have the same goal as Aatrox, right? And I just had a noon quiver and tier 1 boots. Now I got a full Kraken Slayer from that one play did. So do you guys see how like good that is for us? Like, I was able to actually get this. So now you're going to see how this translates. So I'm literally even with Aatrox in every way, despite playing weak side. So now there's Zaya's hella behind still, right? But now I'm back in the game. So now we're going to see. Now we're going to see how we can use this to carry a game. So this game I was completely out, and I'm going to translate this to how to like actually carry, like going from 0 to hero, okay? So this team fight is going to be showcased. So I got the Kraken Slayer, okay? I'll keep the camera on myself, okay? So we are just trying to see how to play team fights right here. I'm trying to play slow. I got Kraken Slayer, do damage, okay? Blitzcrank pulled me. Went for a nice Ignite kill on him. Focusing Echo right there. See, with Kraken Slayer, do damage always. You just need Kraken Slayer 1 Mythic, you're always useful. Okay? Now Aatrox is popping off, but I got a Mythic, I don't care. I do damage. And right there. Okay, I gave a shutdown. It doesn't matter though. I was actually worth bounty, by the way. But that's okay, because right there, I got 3 kills. So there we go, I'm ahead of Aatrox now. So now we're gonna use this same VOD to showcase how to get like how to play Quinn. Okay, so you can play backline and kite their tanks and play like an AD carry, but you're also part assassin, okay? So as an assassin, I'm looking for picks. So like I told you, the thing about Quinn that I really like is that I literally just need like 1 item and I can one-shot any carry, okay? So if there's a 6-1 Tristana, every champion in the game is scared of her. Every single person is scared of her, terrified, right? I'm not. I don't care. Like, I just need one item, and I can beat her, okay? Let's see gold. So she's still 600 gold over me, right? Like, even though I got some kills, she's still terrifying. She's level 11, I'm level 10. But you can always play as an assassin, so always look for this. If they have someone with shutdown, use your roaming kit, turn yourself to an assassin, and play for win cons. You gotta always adapt win con. Sometimes the win con is you playing as the carry backline and just playing an AD carry. Sometimes your win con is playing for picks. My win con, I knew this game was playing for picks, assassin. So now I transformed my win con to playing DPS team fight, which I did in this fight right here. I played to just pop off in the fight, like an AD carry. And that got me back in the game. And now I'm going to use that AD carry. I'm going to transform myself like a transformer into an assassin, okay? That's what I love about this champ. She can play every role your team needs. You should always adapt, by the way. Learning win cons takes a little time, but you'll get that eventually. Like, it's kind of like a League common sense thing. But most of it's like common sense. Like, you see a carry who's worth bounty, and you know you can 1v1 him, that's the play you should be going for, okay? But be careful about it, but that's the play you should be going for. So, I know Tristana's here. I know she is. Like, you just kind of assume that she wants to one-shot me. I'm worth bounty. I knew she was here. I knew it. So I just always be careful. Use your W to face check the bushes. Okay. So she showed first, but I knew. I was like sensing, my valor sensor tingling out. You just always have to like assume when you're with bounty, what are they gonna think? But I'm gonna kill her. So right here, I see my team going for a fight. Right. This is where you have to like, if you're good at assassins, you'll know like what I'm talking about. But if you just play Quinn, you don't play assassin much, you won't really understand this. So I'm gonna explain it. So right here is a fight breaking out. Right. A lot of players would just think, I'm just going to autopilot, fly over here and fight them, right? But I know my win con. I don't care. Like, even though there's fights distracting, your teammates are going to tell you the plays in ping, okay? Don't listen to them, okay? I'm serious. You have to have a game plan and stick to your game plan. Because other people are going to tell you what to do, but you know your win con. They don't like, you're not on voice comms, you can't talk about it. But I know the win con is killing Tristana. I saw her over here, and I'm going to use my inferencing skills that, okay, she's going to push this wave. Fight breaks out right here. She's going to path this way. Like, that's just what you can infer, right? That's just, you guys looking at the game state, you can infer that too. You see a fight breaking out. He was just pushing top. Tristana's just going to walk down here and try to kill him. So what I do, Assassin Brain, that's why I love Sweeper, because I can play this playstyle. Waiting for Tristana. So I don't care. I could join Ari right here for that pick, but that's not the win con. The win con's killing Tristana, right? So I'm waiting. I put that pink ward there earlier too, which is good. So now I have vision. I wait for Tristana to walk up. I'm waiting. Now I have to land Q. If I land Q, I win. If I lose, if I miss it, I lose, and I throw the game because I'm worth bounty too. So you gotta land these Qs too. Okay. But if I come like when she's not expecting it, it's harder for her to dodge my Q. So you want to, as an assassin, you want to give her a limited time. Like right when I go up, I want to throw my Q up. So she's walking up. And there you go. Now she has no time to react. Land the blind right away. She ults me with E. Galeforce is in. Doesn't matter though. Look how much damage you do. See? That's what I love. You just need one item. You're going to one-shot any carry. So right there, I just did the win con. And how big is that shutdown? There you go, from 0 to hero. I'm almost around 2.1k gold over Aatrox in the span of like no minutes, okay? Like literally, look at the time from this compared to the other clip. I literally went from 0 to hero because I adapted my win con. So I'm just going to summarize what I did right there. So I went from playing the win con, the split push right here at the start to get 1500 gold for plates. Remember, there's no objective and have to go. This team fight, I played it as an AD carry with my Kraken. Just like an AD carry would, just DPS. And then now I transformed to an assassin, and I was able to snowball our lead incredibly. And now let's see, I'm the most gold in the whole game by far. So I'm the whole carry of the game in the span of just a few minutes. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about how to use your ult effectively late game, okay? So I was using the same clip as before. Remember, this game I played weak side, I was out of the game. Look at this. So how this game changed. This champion has good scaling, guys, really. So essentially what you want to do, guys, is you want to use your ult to pressure them out, okay? So right here, I'm using my ult. I'm going to push every wave because no one can catch me, okay? So this is why this champ's broken, okay? So especially late game. So I push mid wave. I'm going to press R, fly bot. So now I just got mid pushing, and then now I fly bot. I'm going to push that wave. So we want to go Baron, but I'm going to push this bot wave. Since I can get their wave so fast, you always want to push for objectives. So right here, I go bot, push the wave as fast as I can, and then now I'm coming to Baron. So what's going to happen? They're going to have to send Aatrox bot because I'm pushing the wave, okay? So if I push the wave, you create pressure. They're going to have to send someone, okay? Aatrox has no TP. So since I push bot wave, what happens? I can, because my champion basically has a free TP all the time, and you're really fast. What happens? I secure my team Baron. I'm here. He can't be because I pushed the wave, and it's just free Baron. See? So use your ult to push side waves, okay, before objectives. Like, especially level 16 onwards. That's when you're like actual peak form, okay? So you can absolutely just destroy everybody, okay? You can fly around the whole map. The fact that they have TP and you have on a long cooldown, you don't. You can push a wave, group with your team, and then now you just created pressure by doing that. So rinse and repeat that, and it can help you succeed. Okay, so now we're going to talk about the mechanics section of the guide. So this part of the guide is going to focus on little mechanics with Quinn and some things that will help you in your game. So remember, I have my entire Quinn guide from last season. Click down below in the description for it. I go really in depth with a bunch of mechanics. So I'm just assuming that most of you guys already saw most of those. I'm not going to cover a lot of them again because I already have. So if you're interested, those mechanics still all exist and you can watch them in the guide over there. But here's some additional ones that I'm going to include in this one. Okay, so I'm going to talk about an important interaction that I just found this out while I was making this guide, okay? So there are abilities in the game called Uncancelable Windups. I didn't know the actual term or that they were all classified as the same ability, but essentially all these abilities are basic attacks that can't be interrupted, and they're classified as uncancelable windups. So basic attacks with uncancelable windups are only stopped by death, polymorph, and there you go, Quinn's Vault. So essentially we're the only champion in the game that can cancel these uncancelable abilities, as the name suggests. So right here, as you can see on the screen, these are a list of all of the abilities that you can cancel with QuinnAD. So how this animation works is while they press the animation and their ability is going off, their next auto attack is their uncancelable windup, and our E straight up cancels it entirely. So this is something very unique to Quinn, and you just have to learn the animations of all these champions. When you see them do the animations, you can cancel it with your E. There's some interesting ones I never knew about before, like Jin's fourth shot apparently you can cancel, which I didn't even know. So if someone can send me a clip of that, of them doing that in game, that would be really cool. So I'm going to show you an example of an uncancelable windup. This is against Dakar, against his Rengar. So his Q, Savagery, is the uncancelable windup. So you're going to see in this clip, he's going to charge his Q and leap on me, and you'll see how the interaction looks. So I press E right when he Qs. There you go, canceled it entirely. So now I'm going to showcase a really good mechanic. So it's, I talked about Eing over wall, which a lot of Quinn players know, but this one's even better. You want to blind them before Eing over the wall, so he doesn't expect it. So if I blind him first, he can't see me. Now I can E over the wall, because if I just stand by the wall, he'll know what I'm doing. But if I blind him first, he won't expect it, and you get a free leap every time. Okay, now we're going to analyze the intro clips, and we're going to talk about advanced blind juke, okay? So when you're in an area like this, where there's two paths, you blind them, and then you change directions, okay? Make sure you don't auto them. If I auto him, he can see me. So don't auto him, okay? Do not auto. You blind, and then you change directions outside of near sights. They're always going to walk in the direction they were before every time in every elo, they always do. So use this to your advantage. It can help you escape so many times. I'm going to be breaking down the other clip in the intro. Another case of blind juke again. So just showing you one more time. So you're going to blind, right? When you're in one area and then change direction. He'll think I'm going that way. Then you auto the Harry mark at the very end to get the speed. Okay, you see that? So you auto at the very end, okay? So it allows you to help kite. And then always change directions. So if you blind someone, you always change directions, always. So you blind, instantly sidestep, because they're going to throw it right where you were standing, and you'll get them every single time. Okay, so now I want to talk about one of the most important Quinn tips, okay? With your E. This is super, super important. So a lot of Quinn players don't know this. If you E at max range, you go no distance. It literally brings you back to the start. Look at me. So I E'd her. I got no distance at all whatsoever. It literally brought me back. So what you want to do is you want to E in melee range. Because look what happens. If I'm in melee range of the champion, where the closer they are to me, look what happens when I press E on them, okay? Right when I'm close to them, I actually get distance. It actually pushes me back, okay? So when you're using your E and you're trying to escape, let them come as close as possible to you, those melee champs, then E. Let them go right in front of you, because if I E at max range, I don't go anywhere. There's no point. The E does nothing. But the closer they are to you, the better it is, because now you can actually get distance. Okay, so now we're gonna be talking about a little mechanic with QuinnAD, okay? So QuinnAD always follows the enemy, okay? So, and it's like I talked about before, it's longer range than your auto attack range. So if you wanna go for a solo kill, let's say early game or later on in lane phase, what you wanna do is you want to flash, then E, okay? If you predict they're gonna flash, because if I flash, then E, and they flash, my E follows flash, okay? So you're gonna watch in this clip, if you wanna go for a kill, and you anticipate that they're gonna be scared, so I'm gonna flash aggressively, then you're going to E right away, because your E is going to follow them. So if they flash, it's a perfect ability to follow it every time, okay? So anytime like you're playing with someone like Ez or like anyone with a flash, and you anticipate a flash coming, throw your E off early And if you time it correctly, you'll follow them and it'll be huge. Okay, so I'm going to show you guys something, but keep this between Quinn players, okay? Keep this low-key from Riot, okay, guys? So there's a bug with Kraken Slayer, okay? I'm going to explain how the bug works. It's a bug that benefits us, but our champ, honestly, there's so many bugs that exist, like when I E and I get stuck in a wall at red buff. True Quinn players know that. You get stuck in walls. So the fact that those exist and Riot hasn't patched after 4 years, having this that exists, we keep it low-key, okay? So that's how it works. So with Kraken Slayer, for some reason, there's 2 bugs with it, okay? I'm going to show the first one. If you're in R form, okay, and I auto him, your R counts as a Kraken proc. I don't know why. So you literally just auto him twice and you proc Kraken. Okay, I'll show you. So click your dummy. Look at the Kraken proc right here to see. Okay, so we auto once, twice. See? 2 autos? What happened? Proc Kraken. See that? I'm going to do it again. So remember, Kraken takes 3 autos. Look, I just do 2 autos. So watch, I'm just going to do 2 autos. Watch again. 1, 2. See? 2 autos. 2 autos got it. Okay, that's the first one. Second one? Okay, this one's a little more complicated. If he has a Harrier on him before my Q hits him, I just need 2 autos to proc it, okay? So right here, for example, he's a Harrier proc, okay? Look at the Kraken thing, okay? See that? Same thing. So remember, he has a Harrier proc before, okay? Okay, so look at this, guys. He has a Harrier mark, okay? So auto, Q, auto, boom, proc Kraken. See that? So again, auto, Q, auto, boom, Kraken proc. That's really broken. You proc Kraken in 2 autos with it, and this one's good because you don't even use your ult for it. Okay, so now we're going to talk about Galeforce. Okay, so there's not as many mechanics with Galeforce, but there's some important ones that I want to highlight. So first of all, if you have Galeforce and ult, you don't leave ult, okay? So if I'm trying to engage on someone, especially if you have a Storm Razor, it's really good. Let's say he's really far away. I would Galeforce in and then get an auto attack off. That's a Storm Razor auto. So you get such a big lunge, they don't expect it. So it's always good for engage in your ult, okay? Always use that. That's normally the time you want to engage with Galeforce. Otherwise, just like most other AD carries, you want to do it at the end of your combo, okay? There's little mechanics that I want to talk about with Galeforce. Like you saw in the intro montage clip of against Jax, okay? So if I even Galeforce, you change directions, okay? So you can use that for a lot of cool jukes, or you can do the jump over. So if I E then Galeforce on the other side, you could do that too. That one's not as common though. It's pretty gimmicky, right? To be honest. But you could get really creative with it, right? Like you can blind them first, and then you can E Galeforce if you want, change directions. Like it really makes your E like really nice if you want. But essentially like those are the gimmicky ones. You're not going to find that you're using that as much. Most of the times you're using Galeforce, again, you would initiate an ult to get a nice combo off, or otherwise you would do it to finish them off. Okay, so before I start with this Prowler's Claw section, I want to make a quick little disclaimer that I made a whole in-depth video on Prowler's Claw interactions, and you can click the link above to see them. These clips right here are direct clips from the video, okay? I'm not going to do the whole video and put it here, but I'm just going to highlight the main combo that you're going to use. If you watch Tyler when play Quinn or like the boss, this is the combo they use, and I'm going to break it down in slow motion and how to do it, and explain it a little bit further. So if you want to see in-depth and more combos, check the video over there. Start off in ultimate form, okay? So you get an extra Harrier mark and you can do the combo quicker. You always want to be an ult if you can. If you're not an ult, that's totally okay. You can still do the combo, but preferably start with ult. You're going to auto, E, Prowler's Claw, auto, Q, auto attack. And if you do this correctly, every single auto attack will be a Harrier mark, first of all. So that's why I like doing all those autos. That's the point of doing autos between every one. And the second one is you're going to do the most damage possible, okay? So I'm going to show you the combo in visual sense. So, right there, 2400 damage with Electrocute. Okay, so I'm going to go over some other combos. You can also add flash in your gameplay and do like a mini Akali cosplay, like that clip right there. And you can get really creative with it. So adding flash to it, but also using it to juke, okay? So if I Prowler's Claw then E, you see how you change directions? So you can use it for escapes. It's really good for escapes. Amazing. Because it literally changes your direction. So Prowler's Claw, E over the other way, and change directions. You can use it to jump over walls too. So look, I'm right here. Prowler's Claw, E, and there you go. You advance it up. Okay, so now we're going to talk about the item builds part of this guide, okay? So again, look at my matchup guide because that's the place for the most updated builds, okay? Because I don't know if this is how the game's going to progress in the future. I'll keep that matchup guide updated, but I'm going to quickly explain my thought process on just items, okay? Like mythics. That's the focus of this. Not really items because those are like changed based on the game. But I'm going to talk about the mythics, okay? Because Quinn can use 6 mythics arguably, okay? All the marksman and lethality ones she's really good with, okay? So I'm going to just distinguish the main idea of when you want to build each, okay? Galeforce. Galeforce is the obvious one. Is when you need a dash, okay? The prime examples of I'm playing against a matchup like Camille, for example, or Jax, having Galeforce can literally help me dodge their key mechanics. Like Jax, his E, if he's charging his E, and the only way he kills me is flashy, but if I have Galeforce, I can jump out of that. With Camille, if she E's onto me, I can Galeforce out of her E to dodge it without having to worry, okay? So it's really good. Our E is point and click, so having an extra dash makes it really nice. With Kraken Slayer, build this against tanks, obviously, right? So anytime you're playing against a tank or a tankier team comp, it is really good. Like I showed you about the Kraken, how it's good on Quinn. You can proc in 2 autos. Having this in your build just helps you do so much damage, right? You wouldn't do this necessarily in squishy comps. If you're playing against any, like I would build it based on the comp, okay? Like the enemy top laner. If the enemy top's a tank, I always go Kraken, to be honest, because every time I don't, every time I'm trying to 1v1 them, I just don't do damage. But Kraken Slayer, it solves that problem. So with Shield Bow, I would run this against assassins or someone like Irelia or like hard tough matchups that are top lane, right? Because all those matchups where they try to one-shot you, Shield Bow helping you just survive the all-in just makes everything feel so much better. With lethality builds, these are the more fun ones. So Eclipse is really good with certain builds, and it's a safe escape tool. The fact that it gives you movement speed when you proc it and his shield is really good for Quinn because she's someone who survives on a movement speed. So if you find that you can't make use of the Prowler's Claw, just opt for Eclipse and you want to play Assassin. It's really good and it can help you still one-shot the enemy. Prowler's Claw is the most fun one. So I would run this if I want to roam and just go for fun one-shots. It's the best one-shot build for sure. I showed you how to use Prowler's Claw. But when to use it is up to you. You can build it every game. You see Tyler when he spams, he plays Prowler's Claw every game. Same with the boss. Up to you. It's very fun, though, I'm telling you right now. So just practice it. You have to practice playing Prowler's Claw, though, using it in your combo because it's really tough. But when you make use of it, it's going to be really fun. So the last Mythic is Dustblade. So most times I wouldn't recommend this. It was really good at the release because it used to slow on range and you're able to do crazy one-shots. It was the most fun on release when the season started. But after they took off the slow on range, it's just not as viable. I'm not saying don't run it. There are some people that make use of it, but it's just, you have to have like a gimmicky playstyle. It's pretty good if you're going for like team fights and you want to get resets. I would stack like a CDR heavy lethality build, and then your kind of playstyle is going deep in, going invisible, and then trying to juke out. Okay, so you can make use of it that fits your playstyle. It's up to you, and you could make it work if you want to. Okay, so now I'm going to be talking about items, but just more specifically, just not builds, but like when to like kind of buy each item, because you should be adapting your builds every game you play. No matter what, you should never have a cookie cutter build. You should always adapt it based on your playstyle and what the game needs. Okay, but I'm just going to talk about some like items and like what they benefit from on this champion. So before quick plays, a good synergy with Quinn is that the fact that you get infinite Qs and Es in team fights makes you unkillable, okay? So this is really good against melee comps. If they have a lot of melees, throw this in your build. Why? Because how do melee champs kill you? They have to get close to you and kill you when your E's down. If your E's up, they never kill you because your E's the best disengage tool in the game for an AD carry. So the fact that I have very quick blades against melees, I can just E aggressively, auto them a few times, my E's back up. They can't kill me. It's such a good, like 5th or 6th item against melees, so it's good for that. Lord Dominic's, good against any tank comp, is just the most broken item for AD carries in general. If you're playing against like a lot of comps, I would buy the second item. Against any tanks or any tankier team is just such a good item. It gives you crit, and the fact that it gives you damage based on them having more health than you, crazy. Like that's crazy. Quinn's max health is really low, so the fact that this passive along with armor pen plus crit chance, it's a no-brainer. You buy this item all the time if they have any sort of tank. Anyone popping off, if they have like a hack jungle who's kind of popping off, throw this in your second item. Complement it with Bork too. So like if you want to overkill, if your team's really tanky, I would throw a Bork in 4th item. So I have IE with Lord Dominic's and a Mythic, and then Bork 4th item. If they have really tanky team, this item is so good because it gives you movement speed. But the fact that it also does current health damage every auto attack, anyone who's got a lot of health and I have both these items, I'm 3-shotting all of them. Okay, so it's just such a good synergy. Bloodthirster, you can buy it. I wouldn't buy it before 4th item, but it's just good if you just kind of like feel like you want a lot of lifesteal. And the shield is okay, but the main part is the lifesteal. The fact you get 20% lifesteal in one item is huge. Really good complementary with Runeends. Only buy Runeends IMO if you're having Bloodthirst in your build. So the whole point of this synergy is that you just become like a lifesteal beast, because Runeends applies lifesteal too. So the fact that you can apply both of them together, you just heal everything. You can go face deep in and kill them all. Collector is my favorite item this season. It's really good if they have, if you're trying to go deep like an assassin. you can throw in a crit build, that's what the item's meant for. But if you want to be like an assassin, so if you feel like they have any carries who like fed and worth bounty, collector is huge for that. I hate this item, I really do, I hate this. But there's some games you have to build it like against like Malzahar or Skarner. So I don't know, I just hate this item. If you really just try to position better, it gives the stats are just so bad. But there's some games again where you have to build. It's just like a leaked common sense thing. Like Skarner and Malzahar, you need this item. Stormrazor is another really good item for Quinn. The reason is because if I auto attack someone, I slow them. It means I can land my Q for free because Quinn's Q goes so slow. The fact that I get to just auto him first and then start throw my Q, it lands your Q for free, which is huge. Because like I talked about earlier, if you land Q on any champion, they insta die at 2 items if they're squishy, even if they're more fed than me. So landing the Q is huge. This helps you land it. I.e. just any crit build, it's just common sense. Any crit build, always buy this 3rd item whenever you can. This only thing is, if you go in Sanguine Blade, this item would delay your IE spike a little bit. I always buy the 2nd item. So you would buy IE 4th item with Sanguine build, but this item is just so good. It gives you just crazy stats for, it's the best split push item. It is, hands down. 1v1 and split push item, if you're looking for that, buy this item. It's huge. It makes your W, along with this, it's like literally your W attack speed, passive, times 2, because it's 80%, your W is 80%. So like you just, and giving lethality does damage to towers, so attack speed plus lethality plus AD, it's a no-brainer. This item is incredible. Anytime you're trying to like not group as much and go for plays, buy this. You can buy this in lethality builds and crit builds. So Essence Reaver, I don't like this item that much, but I know Quinn, who's a Brazilian Quinn player, he loves Essence Reaver. This is his favorite. He goes Galeforce Essence Reaver, and I don't know, it's just, he likes it for the one shot, okay? So like, the fact that you get Sheen damage, so if you Gale Force in and you get to like go in as a crit assassin and then you have Sheen procs, you do a lot of damage with it, right? It's actually, you can make use of like, a lot of people ask me about like, oh, why don't you play Trinity Force Quinn? This is kind of like Trinity Force Quinn for this season because it's actually viable. And the fact that it gives CDR is nice too. Quinn benefits really hard from CDR. So you can throw that in as a nice 2nd item for Gale Force builds. This item against any healers, if they have healers on their team, always buy this. Again, I don't really like buying Mortal Reminder if I don't have to, because I always run Ignite, so I don't need it as much. But there's some games, like I said, you have to build it. So go for it if they have a lot of healing on their team. It's really good to help mitigate a lot of that healing when your Ignite's down. So now these are the lethality items. If they have any champion, if you're trying to play like more of an assassin role, they have champions who have CC abilities, Edge of Knight's huge. Let's say, for example, like Cassiopeia. If I'm trying to engage on Cassiopeia, she can just army. But if I have an Edge of Knight, she can't, right? Like any champion where like they have a big like CC ability, I can't really go into my ult. But if I have Edge of Knight, I can just go face first deep in. They can't touch me, right? So it's a huge item for that. Ghost Blade's really good because it gives you movement speed out of combat. So this is a good like complementary item if you're trying to all in on the one shots. I don't build it as much this season, but it's still pretty good. And Serpent's Fang is one of the best stat-wise items in the whole game. A lot of people just rush it. But anytime they have any shields at all, you can buy this item a little bit earlier than normal. For crit builds, I would buy it probably 4th item. I probably wouldn't buy it earlier than that, but lethality builds, you can buy it 2nd if you're playing against champions with a lot of shields. Okay, so before I begin with my keystones, I want to make this disclaimer. These are keystones and runes that I personally like, okay? This is my playstyle, but the beauty about Quinn is that if you look at the stats of any Quinn in any region, all the top Quinn players in every server play and build are completely different, okay? So the whole goal of this is to inspire you guys to try a keystone that you like, and then after you find something that you like, let's say, for example, you run PT and you love it, you can spam it every game you want. That's totally okay. All right, I'm just giving thoughts on which ones I like running into. That gives me the best advantage, but by no means do you have to run it in only these matchups, okay? This is just my play style, okay, guys? So, the 2 Chana champions that I run it into are against tanks and champions who are great and extended fights, okay? So I'm going to elaborate on that. So here's a little brief overview of the champions I run Press Attack into. Camille, Cho'Gath, Dr. Mundo, Garen, Kale, Mordekaiser, Ornn, Poppy, Renekton, Rise, Set, Shen, Silas, Sion, Urgot, Vladimir, Volibear, Wukong, Yorick, Lucian, and Vayne. Okay, so these are the matchups that I love it into. First one that we're going to talk about is his tanks. So against tanks, they don't do much damage to you, and you want to do more damage to them. So PTA is literally the best keystone into tanks because when they start building their Bramble Vest Ninja Tabbies, you want to be able to have something to cut through them. PTA is the best against it because it does the most damage against champions, right? It's the highest damage keystone by far. So tanks, press the attack, it'll allow you to shred them, and it's just clear best choice, okay? The other ones that I like running into are champions who are good at extended fights. So good examples of this could be like Camille, Rise, Renekton's kind of tanky, so he kind of fits in that. Lucian, Vayne, Wukong, Volibear, I guess. Well, Volibear is more of a tank, but still. So those champions were like, And in an extended fight, like if I'm playing against Kennen, or, you know, or like Urgot or Vladimir or Vayne, like I'm gonna be in a lot of big fights, right? Where I want more damage into them, right? Electrocute wouldn't really cut it too much though, because it's more like, okay, I got a little trade and that's it. But with PTA, it's like, okay, well, if we get an extended fight that's longer than like 6 seconds, press the attack will shine, right? I'm not trying to go for a little quick trade and then run. I want to be able to like destroy them in that fight. So press the attack, I love it into, because in those extended fights, it allows me to get the most damage ramped up possible. And if I land blind on any of those champions, it's even better because they can't retaliate back on me. So I got 1.75 seconds of me launching my whole nuke with my W max attack speed and just doing the most damage possible, okay? So this is the best standard keystone on Quinn. Try it in any matchup, even matchups that aren't on listed here. You can try them in any ones you want, but from my experience, these are the favorite ones that I have, okay? Okay, so for secondary runes, there are many choices for press the attack keystone. So I'm going to start with Triumph. I think Triumph is best in almost every case. You can go Overheal as the other alternative. Well, the only downside with Overheal is that it doesn't really provide you much, especially since you're not building too much early lifesteal on Quinn. So it just feels redundant. I like Triumph because it helps you with those level 3 solo kill dives. Because if I'm trying to dive someone in an early game play, Triumph can literally be the factor that saves your life so many times, and it gives you gold too. And if you're just in a fight and you're able to get like those deep kills and then getting health, it's my favorite thing to run, especially when trying to 1v2. So that's what I would recommend. For the second one, going Bloodline or Alacrity, there's only 2 options you should choose. I would go Alacrity. If you guys want to go Alacrity, that's okay. But if you go Alacrity, so you need to either have Ravenous Hunter as your other rune, or you need to be going Blade of the Rune King Rush or Sanguine Blade Rush, okay? You need that. Because otherwise, if I go Alacrity, and I don't have those 2 other things, then I have no lifesteal on my first item, because my first item is going to be a Mythic usually, and then I'm just going to have no lifesteal. Having no lifesteal on Quinn feels really bad. So if you guys are on Alacrity, that's okay, but pair it up with Ravenous Hunter, or go Sanguine Blade / Bork Rush or Eclipse Rush, okay? Just make sure you have lifesteal by your first item. Otherwise, go Bloodline and it pops off. Coup de Grace or Cutdown should be your other choices for the bottom tree. Coup de Grace is one of my favorites, even into tanky matchups, because it helps you with those level 3, level 4 solo kills, which is a big part of Quinn's kit, because it helps you get those nice early game kills, which is huge, especially with your ignites. Otherwise, go Cutdown. Cutdown's really good if they have a tankier team. My thought process, if they have 2 or more tanks on their team, I go Cutdown. Otherwise, I go Coup de Grace, okay? Sometimes I limit it to 3. It's up to your discretion, but just make the choice between one of those 2. And if you're really unsure, Coup de Grace really helps, because it helps you with assassination picks on their squishy AD carry as well. So the secondaries, you can go either Taste of Blood and Ravenous. This is a good common rune page right now. It gives you a lot of sustain with your press to attack, which just helps you dominate lane. Another choice is changing Taste of Blood for Sudden Impact. This is probably my favorite. Sudden Impact plus Ravenous Hunter with your PTA page, because this helps you get a lot of early game domination. I just find I don't really need the Taste of Blood a lot of these matchups. I'd rather have more damage, and that's what Sudden Impact allows you to do. It provides you with that damage, okay? Now, if you're more confident in your laning, guys, go Sorcery as your secondary page, okay? My favorite page to run, if I'm able to, is running Absolute Focus plus Gathering Storm, okay? Because by level 20 or 20 minutes in the game, you have about 27 to 28 extra attack damage, just free from the runes. That's almost a full BF sword of AD that you get. So a lot of times when you're playing Quinn, is that you find that, like a lot of Quinn players tell me, or I find myself, is that you can win lane easily, right? But the problem is carrying your 0-6 bot lane. It's your losing team. You can't carry them. If you run Absolute Focus Gathering Storm, you literally have the perfect rune page to carry losing teammates, okay? Because it's not even about like the hardcore scaling late game. Like most games go to 20 minutes, even if they're like full out losses, right? And that's where Gathering Storm shines. At 20 minutes, that's where it shines, okay? So I would run that if you find that most of your losses are from being unable to carry teams. But if you find that you want more help in lane phase, go the Taste of Blood Ravenous Hunter style, okay? For secondaries, you can also run Nimbus Cloak as a choice, Celerity. It's all up to you. Those are a lot of good options. Just base it on how you want to run the matchup. Do you want Nimbus Cloak for more zoomies in lane, for more ignite speed? Do you want Celerity for to juke some abilities? All up to you. Okay, so the next keystone I'm going to be talking about is Fleet Footwork, okay? So there's 2 types of matchups that I like to run Fleet Footwork into. Either poke matchups or matchups where you want movement speed, okay? I'm going to break down both of those terms, what they mean. But basically the champions that I run Fleet Footwork into are Akali, Gangplank, Gnar, Heimerdinger, Alawi, Jace, Kled, and Rumble. So why these matchups? Like, what does Fleet do? Okay, so the first branch is poke matchups, okay? And by poke matchups, I mean champions who poke you a lot. The primary examples of that are like Gangplank or Jace, because those champions are lane bullies and it's so easy for them to poke you a lot, right? And by poke, I mean like they're able to like just be a lane bully and constantly trade with you without with ease, kind of. So you could run Electrocute and press the attack, for example, into like Jace, where if you get ahead when I'm running Electrocute into Jace, like the game's over for him. He can't play the game, right? But the thing is, this implies that you must be better than Jace, okay? If you make one mistake in a Gangplank or Jace lane, for example, with Electrocute or PTA or any other keystone, the lane's over for you. If I'm playing against a Jace and I take one bad trade without fleet, the game's over. The lane's over. I can't play the lane if he's good. But if I run fleet footwork, I can make little mistakes and I can actually play the game. Okay, so what fleet footwork does, it allows you to survive the early game, which is in their favor, and allow you to scale up to your one item. Because when you get like one item into someone like Jace or Gangplank, you start taking over. The game's over. Like you outscale them in 1v1s, okay? The problem is the early lane phase. So fleet footwork allows you to survive those early trades and being able to get to your item spike, which allows you to take over the game, okay? So every time I don't run fleet into Jace, I regret it instantly if he's a good player. So try it out, guys, and see how it goes. The other matchups that I like to run into are matchups where you want movement speed, okay? So primary examples of this are Alawi and Kled. Those are the best two examples, okay? So basically matchups where zoomies help you win the lane, okay? So for Alawi, if Alawi misses E, you win that lane, like you win that trade. Alawi misses E, you go in for a trade instantly. Fleet footwork allows you to help juke that E, okay, with the zoomies you get from it, okay? The next matchup is Kled. Kled, how does Kled win? Throwing his chain on you, pulling you in, and then getting trades on you. If I have fleet footwork, I can just auto Kled once and just zoom me out of Kled's chain, okay? So that's why I really love it. Here's the clip right here. It's against my matchup guide. It's on my other Quinn guide, okay? But I just want to show you because this is really actually helpful, okay? So, looking over here, okay, guys? I'm playing against Alawi. Look, I'm able to use fleet zoomies to juke Korean. Look what happens. When I juke Alawi, what happens? You just kill her. See that, guys? So that's why I like fleet in that matchup, because I juke the E. With fleet, it's easier, and then when I juke the E, I beat him. Another matchup's Kled, okay? So this, again, season 10 clip, but it's still applicable. So right here, how does Kled win? Throwing chain on you, but I have fleet footwork with Nimbus Cloak Celerity. He throws chain on me. Look at that. Outrun the chain, then look. He has no chain, so you just run him down, right? So that's just how it goes. Look, he gets, look, this matchup, how good is Zoomies? He can't even catch up to me. He can't do anything. Look, he literally can't play the game. So that's what I love about fleet, is that you're able to outrun him. And then you can just go in, see? So matchups like that where you want zoomies, fleet footwork works wonders. Okay, so for secondary, you have two choices. Like I said, there are two types of matchups. The ones that poke a lot and the ones where you need movement speed. So if you're playing against a poke matchup, I would run the Taste of Blood Ravenous, okay? Or if I just don't want that much healing, I would go Ravenous plus Sudden Impact. That's also a really solid page. So it provides you the most sustain you can possibly get for those matchups, like Gangplank and Jace. So a matchup that we need the zoomies, kind of like Kled, Alawi, and Gnar, like I talked about, I would run Celerity and Nimbus Cloak, because I'm running fleet not for the poke, not really for that. I'm using it for the zoomies that you get from it. So having Celerity and Nimbus Cloak will let me achieve that goal a lot easier, okay? So that's a very solid choice for that. Okay, so the next keystone that I like to run is Phase Rush, okay? So this is a keystone. Again, you can run this in more than the matchups that I listed, okay? So I'm going to tell you the best reasons to run Phase Rush. Phase Rush makes you really hard to kill. So there's some people that like running Phase Rush every game that they play. So the keystone Phase Rush is the best safe keystone. So it's also good for ganks, guys. Don't forget about that. So if I get ganked and my Phase Rush is up, I have the best chance of surviving the gank. When I just proc Phase Rush, you get the zoomies, slow resistance, I can outrun the gank, okay? So there's a lot of matchups you can run them into. Any matchup where you find that you're kind of like scared about and you want to be able to survive their all-in, safe, you can never go wrong with Phase Rush. It's really standard, and the thing I like about it in Sorcery Tree, all the secondary runes are really good, so having this as your primary keystone is awesome because it gives you really good secondaries. So in this guide, I recommend Phase Rush into these matchups: Olaf, Nasus, Singed, Aurelia, Darius, Aatrox, Tryndamere, and Tahm Kench. Two types of matchups I prefer best into. Again, matchups where I need slow resistance specifically, and other ones where I want movement speed as well. Okay, I'm gonna explain both of those. So I will start with the slow resistance. So champions that slow you, Phase Rush is broken because you get 75% slow resistance when you proc it, okay? So for example, if Nasus is the best example. If Nasus throws his Wither at me, I'm slowed, right? If I proc Phase Rush on Nasus after the Wither's on me, I get movement speed, right? Which is nice. But on top of that, I get 75% slow resistance. So his Wither slows me by 75% less. So it's literally ideal in those matchups, right? Because if they use their ability on you, you get it. Another matchup I really like into is some Singe W. Singe W slows you. So If he throws his W on me, I can't flash, I can't use vault. So I just auto him 3 times, or auto Q auto, and then phase rush his proc, so I can run through his W like nothing. There you go, Singed without his W, what's it gonna do? Nothing, right? So that's why I like into those matchups. So like Irelia, people always question, why Irelia? Well, because with Irelia, if she lands ult on you, which is so easy for her to do, her ult is like a 90% slow. So what I do is when she ults me, I would press Q on her, I would auto E auto, and then phase rush is procced, and then I can run through her ult like nothing, okay? And if I can run through her ult like it's nothing, then I blind her and then she can't do anything. So it's my favorite safe keystone to Irelia too. So and another one is like Tom Kench, because Tom Kench, how he wins is he throws his tongue at you, you're slowed, and then he wants to walk up to you and eat you up. If he throws his Q on you, you proc this, slow resistance, his Q doesn't slow you, and he can't ever kill you, right? So those are the slow resistance matchups. The other ones where you want movement speed, okay? Someone like Tryndamere, Aatrox, Darius, for example, Olaf, because like Olaf, I can't use my E on him when his ult is up, but I need movement speed to outrun him. So phase rush is prime play. Darius is running you down. Phase rush, so he can't outrun you. He runs ghost every time, and sometimes he runs phase rush as well. So you want the best chance of survival. Doesn't matter how much damage I do. I gotta outrun this guy. So phase rush is best for that. To rip Glacial, we can't run that anymore. Someone like Tryndamere, when his ult's up, I just want to outrun him. And just matchups like that, okay? Again, you can run it in any matchup you want. Like someone like phase Aatrox, I love it into because his W. If he throws W on you, if I proc phase rush, I can outrun his W, right? And if I get out of his W, we're chilling because I get slow resistance, so his W doesn't slow me, right? So again, run it in any matchup you want. This is the prime safe keystone, okay? But these are the ones I like it best into because it gives you the best bang for your buck. And the secondary for phase rush, okay? So I would run Nimbus Cloak, Absolute Focus, and Gathering Storm usually for those runes. Nimbus Cloak is always the best one. This one that you want to change is the Celerity one. I would run Celerity into matchups like Darius where you really need the movement speed because that extra like 7% movement speed is like will save your life into Darius. Every percent of movement speed you have in that matchup is critical because you need that zoomies in that matchup. But if it's someone easier that I'm running phase rush into, I would go Absolute Focus. If I find the match was a lot easier, someone like Nasus where I just want more early game damage, I'd probably just go Absolute Focus because I don't need the movement speed as much, but I need damage to make up for it, so I'll go Absolute Focus instead of that. Okay, but go Gathering Storm always on your last part. For secondaries, again, it's situational. What I usually like to do is go Taste of Blood Ravenous if I find I need sustain in that matchup, okay? That's a good option. If I'm playing against someone hard like Irelia, I'd probably go Bone Plating and like Overgrowth to like help survive her all in, right? Another option that I could go is going sudden. So another option you can go is Sudden Impact plus Ravenous. Again, it's all up to you for secondaries. Just base it on the matchup on your preference, but just make sure. Okay, and so for secondaries with this page, you're kind of limited, I guess. Okay, and so for secondary for this page, you're kind of limited. So I would have 2 options, okay? And these are the reasons. So you want to get a mythic item like first most games you play. So that means they don't have lifesteal, okay? So as you guys notice, you're not running Bloodline on this page, so it's not precision. So that means that you are kind of stuck on going either Domination or Precision secondary, either Ravenous Hunter or Bloodline, because you need to make sure that you have lifesteal on your first item. Sometimes it sounds tempting to go like Bone Plating and Overgrowth because that's good for like Irelia. But if I do that, then I have to buy a non-mythic first item because I will not have lifesteal unless I'm going Eclipse. So that's why I kind of don't want that. I would just limit it to just Domination or Precision. My favorite secondary page would be Taste of Blood Ravenous or Sudden Impact / Ravenous. Those are good options because it gives you the lifesteal you need. And if you want damage or more healing with Taste of Blood, Sudden Impact, that's a good choice. Otherwise, go Precision. I would go Bloodline for sure with that. And then either Coup de Grace or Cut Down as my choice. Most times I would just go Domination because you get more lifesteal from Ravenous Hunter, and Taste of Blood and Sudden Impact is just a little bit better than Cut Down Coup de Grace. So the choice is up to you guys, but just limit it to usually those 2 because you want to get that lifesteal first spike. Okay, so and here are my thoughts with Electrocute. So there's 2 types of kind of reasons why I would run Electrocute. So first, against squishy matchups / comps. Okay, so I'm looking at their team comp and their top laner is a squishy or champion, or if their comp in general has like a lot of squishy champions, Electrocute / Lethality is honestly just such a great choice because it's if they're squishy champions, the more squishy champions, the easier it is for me to assassinate them, of course. So that's why I like it. The other option is if you're playing Quinn mid, because Quinn mid, I'll explain it again, my thoughts in a bit. So here are the matchups that I run into. I personally run into Kayle, Riven, Teemo, Pantheon primarily. The ones in brackets are champions that I don't always run it into, but these are like just some examples of champions if you like that you can run into because they're squishier. So you can also run Electrocute into like tankier champions too. So if you run Electrocute into someone like Scion and stuff, I can go Eclipse as my Mythic because it does max health damage, so it does well. So even against like the taker champions, you can run Electrocute too. It's all up to you guys. I know it sounds a little weird and like it's not as helpful, but I really want to stress this. This is just the way I play it, but just try this keystone. You can run it, and again, if you really like this playstyle of running Electrocute into like assassinating people, getting short trades, just really like the rune, run it in any champion you want, okay? Like, it's all up to you. Like, if you really like running this in the tanks with Eclipse, do that too. PTA is probably safer and more scaling, but if you want to run this and go for more assassination roams, do it. This keystone, you have to do short trades though, okay guys? If you're running this, you're not doing long trades, you're going in for your combo, proccing Electrocute, using your abilities and backing off. That's basically the playstyle of this. So if you're doing this keystone, play that playstyle. If you're playing Quinn mid, because you can't really run PTA mid because it's really bad since they just hide on your tower all game and you don't really get use of the procs. But if I run Electrocute, I just do short trades. So if they walk up to like halfway lane, I just do my trade and that's it. So it's the best because the lane's so short. And it's also good because you're roaming a lot, and Electrocute is good for like those short nukes, which is you're doing the most roaming mid lane, so this does the best. Okay, so those are the two champion matchups that I would run into. But again, experiment with it, try it in what you want, and see how you like it. Okay, and so for Electrocute secondaries, you have a lot of choices with the first part. Sudden Impact, Taste of Blood, and Cheap Shot are all good. Cheap Shot's good because it procs on your Q and E. So if you stutter your trades, you can get the most bang for your buck with that rune, because if I Q him, wait 4 seconds, and I use E, that's Cheap Shot procced on both abilities. Sudden Impact usually is my favorite because it procs on your E and gives you lethality, good for early game trades too. Otherwise, go Taste of Blood. Taste of Blood's awesome for matchups where you need sustain. Second one, go Eyeball Collection every time. Don't even think about the other two. They're on good on Quinn. And then for the third one, either Relentless Hunter or Ravenous. Ravenous if you want more sustain in lane. But I find Relentless is better because with Electrocute, you want to roam more to get your stacks. So Relentless Hunter allows you to move around the map quickly. So I'd usually run this. This standard Sudden Impact, Eyeball Collection, Relentless Hunter is usually my favorite for Electrocute, but varied based on your needs. Secondary runes, okay? If you're playing mid lane Quinn, go Mana Flow Bend every time, boys, okay? And you might be wondering why. Because if you're playing mid lane Quinn, you're roaming 10 times more than you would as any other Quinn. And your ult costs 100 mana per cast. So if I roam bots, that's going to cost me 200 mana. And your mana pool is going to go so quick. If you're not running Mana Flow Ban, you're literally going to regret it. I'm telling you right now. So if you're playing mid lane Quinn, always run Mana Flow Ban. Your goal in lane is to proc it as quick as possible and then roam around the map. Secondary, usually I like Celerity to help the lane phase feel a little bit better and survive ganks easier. But it's all up to you. You can go anything you want to go Absolute Focus too. You can go Gathering Storm. But that's for mid lane Quinn. For top lane Quinn, another good option, because you don't need Mana Flow Ban if you're going top lane Quinn, because you're not roaming as much. Unless if you really want to roam, you can. But another option, again, not for mid lane Quinn, but for top lane Quinn, going straight up Absolute Focus, Gathering Storm for that full out mid to late game potential scaling aspect of the one shot, okay? So top lane Quinn, just to recap, Absolute Focus, Gathering Storm. Mid lane, I would go Mana Flow Ban and Celerity. Okay, and so for Grasp of the Undying, I literally run into two champions, okay? Malphite and Maokai. You want to run in matchups where you want constant sustain / poke, okay? So I can't run Fleet Footwork into Malphite and Maokai because they're tanks. They are tanks that poke, okay? So if I run Fleet Footwork, I'm not doing any damage to them because they're Bramble Vest Ninja Tabby users, okay? So I want to make sure that I run a Keystone that gives me damage but sustain. So, okay, that's why I like Grasp into them specifically, because they're tanks that do damage, okay? So Maokai, he has high mana cost, but he does a lot of damage, and his W can juke his Q, so he's got the lane control. But if I have Grasp, every time he engages on me, I proc at least 2 Grasp procs every trade, and then I basically out-heal his combo, okay? So now Maokai, he just loses all of his mana just for me to heal it back up. And I do damage with my Grasp procs, right? Like constantly proc him in lane. So you're going to find that with this Keystone, every time Maokai jumps on me, I'm going to out-sustain his trades, and he's going to be out of mana. So then you just free win the lane. You can't play the game with it. My favorite Keystone to Maokai. Malphite, I love it Grasp into him, okay? Because Malphite relies on Q to poke you in lane. Again, another tank. But with Grasp, I can proc 2 Grasp procs for every time he lands Q. So in a whole trade, I will out-trade him every time. No matter what, even if he lands his Q on me. Because with Grasp, no matter what, I get 2 Grasp procs. If I do it correctly, means I get to out-sustain him, okay? So these matchup, try it into these two guys, and it will work wonders, okay? Okay, so here are the secondaries for my Grasp page. Again, it's only for Maokai and Malphite that I usually run into. Demolish, because everything else is just trash, and Demolish just helps you get plates and towers, okay? Just the other two are just so bad for Quinn, so you always go Demolish regardless. The other one is I go Second Wind on the second one. So you can go Bone Plating too if you're really scared for like Malphite all-in for his ult. Bone Plating does wonders for his actual like combo. Otherwise, boys, go Second Wind. okay? Because second wind, every time he Q trades you, which is literally the lane, and same with Maokai when he keeps poking you, second wind will heal up all that damage that they do, which helps with those trades. And then third one, I love unflinching, boys, okay? For both Malphite and Maokai, because unflinching gives you slow resistance and tenacity. It only works on Malphite Qs, but that's a big part of the lane. So that means every time he Qs me, they slow me for a little bit less like duration and a lot less slow. And if I'm low, it goes to 30% for each. So his Qs, if he Qs me when I'm low, I get 30% slow resistance and tenacity, which means his Q is almost rendered kind of useless with CC attached to it. With Maokai, you get to take out his roots, okay? From his W and from his R, which is always nice. And secondary, okay, you got some options. My favorite would be Sudden Impact Ravenous, okay, for lifesteal, because you need to run lifesteal, like I said, so you have to go either Bloodline or Ravenous for it, okay? So I would run this for the nice lifesteal. And then Sudden Impact if you're confident you want to get some early game kills, more damage. Otherwise, you can go Taste of Blood Ravenous if you really want to all in the sustain. Okay, so and that concludes our video. So before we go and end things off, I'm actually gonna do something I've wanted to do for a long time, which is a room tour, okay? But not just any room tour. I'm gonna be doing a light show showing the magic behind the scenes, okay? So if you made it this far in the video, what I want you to do is I want you to comment clapback fadeaway down in the comments down below, just so I can see people who actually are gonna watch this room tour, people who made it this far in the video. And it's gonna trick people out because a lot of people are gonna think that you're gonna see all those clapback fadeaways because I'm talking something about content, but ironically, it's not about content. It's completely about this this room tour. So thank you guys so much for watching this. Really appreciate it. And again, if you enjoyed the video, please shoot a thumbs up or shoot a sub if you kind of enjoy this content. It means the world to me. And thank you guys so much for everything. Really appreciate it.
Deep inside your brain and take you somewhere far away. Time to roll the dice. You know I'm the type to risk my life, not afraid to die, type to make you cry, type to put a price all up on your head, do just what I said. I'm a straight up villain, yeah, no feeling, yeah, no feeling, straight up villain, yeah, no feeling, yeah, no feeling. Alive, but I'm dead, hear my voice up in your head, watch it fill you full of dread till you go. Is it really a surprise? From the start we were so damn good. I can see you and me like a whole